one of the main things we're going to be talking about a lot, we're going to be mainly focusing on the Supreme Court's rulings. So recently, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of Donald Trump as far as allowing the Department of Homeland Security to have the discretion they needed to end the temporary protected status for whom they deem, I guess, unfit. And everybody knows that this is directly, damn near mainly, if not exclusively, going to be about Haitians. That's what everybody's talking about, Haitians and Syrians, but really the main subject is Haitians. And a lot of people have been talking about that. You have had a lot of Haitian activists out here talking about they built this country and they belong here and they have a right here, and they get mad at us as foundational Black Americans, get mad at us that we're not like standing shoulder to shoulder with them as far as their deportation, as far as them going back to Haiti. So a lot of them been getting mad at us about that. And all I'm going to say, and I've already covered this, we already did a live. If y'all have not seen that, y'all should. I'm going to say this. First off, we are not the Avengers. We are not here to come out and save everybody. We're not here to come out and rescue everybody. We're not here for that. Okay? We are not here to save the world, or we're not here to save each individual. By saving us is saving the world. Let me not have any of that confused. So we had a lot of that. A lot of people coming out with their feelings about that. I've had people DM me going off, going crazy. Oh, keep Haiti out your mouth. Don't you speak on Haiti, da 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 da. I mean, I'm talking about they going off, going crazy. Then recently, like a couple days after that ruling, you had the ruling of birthright citizenship. Very close, very close. But they ruled in favor of how the amendment, which is the 14th Amendment, is interpreted now, which is saying that anybody who is born here, regardless of their parents' legal status, okay, anybody who was born here, regardless of your parents' legal status, is an American citizen. Now, Trump tried to reverse that with his executive order, and the Supreme Court, first off, there were federal judges who immediately blocked that. And then the Supreme Court, it went over to the Supreme Court, and they deliberated for a while, and it was close, but they turned out to keep the 14th Amendment the way it is and not implement Donald Trump's executive order. Now, Donald Trump's executive order was saying that if you are born here and both your parents, because I read the executive order multiple times on camera, okay, on my YouTube channel. If you guys have seen my other YouTube channel, Afro Elite, you guys definitely need to. If you haven't seen it, you definitely need to. But what the executive order states is that if you are born here by parents who are not American, okay, they don't have permanent residency in America, your mother or your father, they're not here, they're here on some type of vacation visa or trip visa or something like that, you are not automatically by birth an American. And the reason why Donald Trump was establishing this as an executive order is because I don't even really want to put a date on it, because whatever date I put on it, you would have to go back some. But for the last several years, okay, for the last few generations, I'm going to be very honest with you. For the last few generations, you've had an influx of anchor babies. You've had an influx of people coming over, and these people are from all over the world, okay? So I'm even talking about the European ones, because they do it. The media doesn't really talk about them doing it, but they do it as well too. You've had all over the world, they'll come over here and they'll have babies. The women will come over here. They'll deliberately have babies. Many times they'll try to have babies with Americans. They'll, go around, they'll mess around, they'll have a baby with an American, and then bam, okay, that's your anchor to an American. Okay, that's your anchor to being in America. Now, here's the thing, even if you don't have a baby with an American, if you give birth here, that baby is automatically an American by default, because of the 14th Amendment. So you can come over here 7 months pregnant, you stay for a few months, you have a baby, and you go back with the baby. Technically, that baby can come back anytime they want to, because technically speaking, that baby is an American. And that's something that for generations, that's something that has been exploited. Now, the cause of the 14th Amendment was for foundational Black Americans, because we were emancipated, slavery was over, but we were still not giving rights as citizens. Okay, you still had a lot of freedmen who are deemed like not technically property of a slave owner. However, we were not American, and there was a big push so we can be classified as citizens in the country we built. So we are American. All right. So that was the reason for that. Back when that was done in the 1865, there was not the foresight to see that this is going to be a law or an amendment that is going to be heavily exploited by foreigners. Okay. And what Donald Trump had argued was that the intent of this amendment was for the descendant of slaves, for the newly emancipated, all right? The recently emancipated, for the freedmen. That was the intent, that was the purpose, that was the cause. Now you've had other people, and I'm talking about all around the world. Like I said, Europeans do it. People don't talk about that, but Europeans also do that as well too. Europeans, Asians are they've been doing that crazy. They've had whole schemes and plots and organizations and stuff like that do that come over here, hide pregnant women in shelters and stuff like that, and then have Asian babies and then run back, and then technically their baby's American, so they can anchor themselves anytime. All right, because a lot of times too, if they want to become American or they want American citizenship, so they need a sponsor. So what they can do is have a baby here, take them back, raise the baby, and then the baby can come back anytime they want to as an adult, and then sponsor their parents and other family members. So then that's their tie to America. That's anchoring them to America. It's a lot of stuff. Asians have been doing that. There's rackets and all of that stuff. Africans have been doing that. A lot of them have been doing that, coming over here with student visas. They'll come over here with student visas, have 1 or 2 babies real quick. Bam, that's your anchor That's your anchor in this country. All right. Now we know for a fact, a lot of them, and if probably not mistaken, I'm not 100% sure about the numbers, but I mean, we pretty much know based off of the numbers that we can confirm, most of them are Hispanic. Most of the ones doing that, by and large, by majority, are Hispanic. Hispanics for generations have been coming over here, crossing the southern border, coming over here, having babies. And I'm talking about, they don't have a 1 or 2. They have 1, 2, 5, 6, 7. They have as many babies as possible to anchor them in the country. All right. To anchor them here. They'll have a house full of babies to anchor them here. All right. And this is bad for not only for national security, because you have a lot of people with foreign interest. Okay. You have a lot of people with foreign interest. Hold on. We're in there. Oh, okay. I thought that person was talking to me. Sorry, somebody. Who have dual allegiances. So these people get into Congress, and then they're signing really weird foreign policy and weird bills and things like that, because they're not raised or not brought up in the culture of America. So their internal loyalty is to the nation that they're from, their actual homeland, but they're a politician in America. You understand what I'm saying? Then you also have, that's not only bad for national security, but you also have it being bad for the economy. All right, because these people then get prioritized when it comes to economic advancement and stability. These are the people, because a lot of these people will run for Congress, run for office and things like that, and then make sure they look out for other immigrants, which is why we're starting to notice, man, it seems like every politician is going above and beyond to prioritize immigrants over us. Okay? So much so to the point they will, like Yvette Clarke, who is Jamaican, they will blatantly say, hey, you know what? This is not about black Americans no more. This is about immigrants now. They are actually at this point starting to blatantly say that, unapologetically say exactly what they've been doing the whole time. All right. So the Supreme Court case is definitely something that we are going to talk about today. I don't want to be, because a lot of people want to speak. I want the family to get in here, say what they got to say, so we can have a good conversation. All right.
Mute up.
Now, BX, where were you?
Sorry, my food was coming. My food was coming. I got to say, shout out to those who give donations. They really go to a good use. Shout out to those who have paid for things like my classes, my media classes. I appreciate you. Eagle, Cyberdyne. And so I got a donation and I was able to plant a tree. And my forever sister, Nikki, some of y'all probably went in her room on TikTok. She didn't do the pro-black, foundational black American or indigenous thing, even though she is foundational and indigenous. She did celebrity topics and she unexpectedly passed. So the donations actually went to a good cause. I was able to donate to the family and plant a tree in her honor. So I'm so grateful for y'all because this has been a rough time. So I was getting my food, Afro.
Okay.
Honestly. And you always do that. I'm firing up the prompt now, VX, and then you don't go live.
I did. What you know? Okay. Now,
You.
do y'all see how she flipping this on me? That's crazy. She flipping this
Oh
on
my
me. That's
God.
crazy. Wow. I'm always
So
in the
I
wrong.
want
That's
to
just
say
what it
this.
is.
You got to go on. You have to go on mute because the State of the Union is actually a co-production thing, right? It's Afro Lee and For the Culture and me with For Coded Change. And Afro was gracious enough to bring the baby idea that I had to light. So please stay on mute because I get to monologue, Goyo.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Is this for
No
niggers only?
problem. Oh.
Oh boy.
Okay, that
No, I just
doesn't
want to
really
make
hurt
sure.
our. No. That doesn't hurt our feelings coming from a little dick wigger, right? Doesn't really hurt our feelings. We're used to the inferior coming up here and trying to distract us, so
Yo,
we get emotional.
let me
But it
ask
doesn't happen.
Jake, was that
now
you?
I just want to pause real quick. What happened to all of that black fatigue they claim they have? Why can't they leave us alone? Oh, I swear to God, they be they're so sick of black people. Yet everywhere we go, here they come at the door. Can I come in? Can I come in? I thought you had black fatigue. I thought you were tired of black folk. I thought you didn't want us around. Everywhere we go, here they come, like lost puppies.
For real. But see, this is the problem when people outside of Black American culture, outside of our ethnic group, take words or phrases that are in our vernacular, that we created, that we coined, that we made popular. Black fatigue was actually because we're tired of white tea people. We were tired of racism. And we said we're black fatigue, right? We're white tea fatigue. So when they took the word woke, which still pisses me off, they changed it. But it really meant that we were awake, we saw, and we warned others, especially our activists. Lead Belly was the first one to use it when the Scottsboro Boys trial and things of that nature was going on. And he told the activists down there to stay woke. It's documented. So, yeah, they got to leave us alone. But we're going to move on from here. He's just showing his inferiority complex. And he knows that we have the better moral compass. Everything in this nation we built, we started, we created, all that good stuff. That leads back to us, y'all. I want to give a shout out to Arthur Watkins of the Freedmen's Legal Fund. So everybody understands that I was calling out a organization here in New York for appropriating our ancestors' emancipation celebration day, right? It's a sacred day of veneration if you understand New York history. So technically, in New York State, our enslaved ancestors here were emancipated on July 4th, 1827, after a gradual manumission process. We had a very large abolition movement, very strong. Some of our abolitionists here, the slave catchers was like, they want to take their heads off. David Ruggles comes to mind. His name, he was an abolitionist. They didn't want to celebrate on the 4th because they were still at risk of being attacked by the white T MOBS. So they chose July 5th, the day after July 4th. Plus, they always felt July 4th was not a holiday for them. Later on, Frederick Douglass stamped them celebrating July 5th. Conveniently now, I'm noticing the Caribbean don't want to party on July 3rd, which is the designated date that the new politicians in New York created for people to celebrate so they can have an extra day of the weekend. They want to pick July 5th. So I reached out to them with educate, and they were having a rodeo. That's not in Caribbean culture. And I gave them the education of the Federation of Black Cowboys here in New York, the Black Rodeo. We built it, and they're charging money, all that stuff, cited sources, everything. They doubled down to me that they were not going to change the date or meet with me about the event. So Arthur did step in. He got them to some terms. Some of the terms are they have to put an acknowledgement on the event that they are acknowledging our cowboy history. They are allowing Black Americans to get tables, but at this stage in the game, why we didn't have any time for that. So they are doing things that would seem appeasing. But to my New Yorkers, it's your ancestors in New York technical emancipation day, and you got to go to the Caribbean for a table instead of starting your own event in your ancestors' memory. And what I also, that don't make sense. Like, I would really get at you in New York if you rented a table from them. That is, that's a bribe for us to be quiet and allow the disrespect to continue. Pick another day. Here's another thing. Their first price was $55 a ticket. Now, between the time of June 3rd, when I contacted them, to after Arthur contacted them and they agreed to certain things, they're charging $65 plus bottle packages. And I asked, where are the proceeds going? Well, you can't make them give a donation. That's not my point. Okay, if it's illegal, I can't make them donate to anybody's Black American nonprofit. However, the economic exploitation, the locking us out of opportunities, the appropriating by Black businesses, support Black businesses is astronomical here. Y'all take y'all ass to get a motherfucking table with them. Don't let me find out about it. Start your own events. Please, we dropped the ball on a lot of things. Don't help them continue exploiting us here in New York City. I just wanted to call them out on the damn treachery and the economic exploitation. Why would they raise the prices? That's all I have to say about that. We can move on, because they do that a lot, Afro. They economically exploit us. They're in our reparations hearings. We know Yvette Clarke is from New York. She calls for more immigrants to her community and calls Brooklyn the 15th parish of Jamaica. Y'all better get up and vote. State and local counts. We're in New York. I can't speak for no place else. We outnumber them here. Why do they have a little Haiti? Break down the Latinos. We outnumber the Puerto Ricans. We outnumber the Dominicans. They outmaneuver us because they get in these spaces. They build nonprofit organizations. And then they start locking us out of shit. Don't y'all take your asses over there and get no damn table. I'm not playing. The ancestors will still spank us. Remember, Big Mama ain't never put her switch down, even in the spiritual realm. I gotta tell you. But it's frustrating here to see those things. I found an event but the day that I found the event, they already had it. I couldn't even send nobody down there to get footage or anything. You know what it said? Harlem is immigrant stories. They have a Japanese choir. They have Afro-Latin music. We're kind of used to them, right? But a Japanese choir and when did Harlem become immigrant stories? When hasn't it been Harlem is the Renaissance or something? What is going on? Now, I looked into the organization. They've been in effect for a while, so I can't say if they really had anything specifically for just foundational Black Americans, but the appropriation alone is pissing me off. And they said because it's this administration doing XYZ to them, they need to tell their history in Harlem. And this is why I could go to Harlem and not see my people. We got to stop dropping the ball. We have to start having our own events. We have to start supporting each other. And let me tell you something. All that bad customer service, you meet one person that had a bad day, but you meet 10 Jamaicans in their restaurants that had a bad day, and you still keep going back to them. I want to hear about bad customer service. Support your own people, please. Thank you.
All right. I mean, y'all know to get down with the State of the Union. We don't need to rehash everything, but just real quick, just briefly, because we got a room full of people, room full of family want to weigh in on the subjects of this State of the Union. So, BX, if you want to go ahead, I guess give a decorum. We might have some new people.
So, Ronnie reminded me to call out the celebrities. If you're backing Fat Joe, you are a part of the problem. If you're backing anybody that says hip hop was created by everybody, 50-50 Caribbeans created it, you're a part of the problem. If we say this is our culture and you say it's just New York culture, it's just street culture, you are a part of the problem. If you agree that there's too many basketball courts and not enough soccer courts, then you are a part of the problem in the erasure, and you need to be called out, honey. Don't say that white tea looking Hispanic could say the N-word. They ain't gonna fly no more. And that's me calling out the celebrities. They know who they are. I don't have to really drop the names just yet. But don't worry about it. They piss me off again, I will. So, hi, my people on the panel. They look at this panel. They know exactly what to do in case the tethers are in the room. You come up, you get on your mute button until directed to speak. Here we don't really, for the State of the Union, allow immigrants, I'm going to say immigrants, on the panel. This is about foundational Black Americans and those who identify as American Indians who understand and are from the USA and not the Americas are free to join. I'm not dealing with the Americas people today. But yeah, this is for us, by us. Y'all tap the screen. Y'all know about unfriendly language. Y'all know about the heart meat. Don't understand if y'all are doing it or not, but go ahead and send up some heart meats for Afro. He does have a subscription plan that you could get. He has one sticker, and I didn't check, but hopefully he uploaded some more.
I do got a couple more actually, and they're nice, but
you did?
No, I didn't upload them yet.
See, that's what I was saying. He'll upload them by the time you get a subscription and come for the next live. His gift goal, help him complete that. Tap the screen. Share the live out to your friends and family of the lineage and have them come on in and voice their concerns, their hopes, and their predictions for how the rest of the year is going to go. I would really love to hear that as well.
All right. Okay. Here we go. There we go. Let's get to Ronnie. You were here first. Then you go on Teacup, Ronnie. Ronnie.
Yeah, how y'all doing?
You good?
Yeah, thank you for having me. I just wanted to say that, me hearing the birthright citizenship verdict, I wasn't the happiest about it like I assume everybody else was. But I would like to say that this is just the start of it. That was a long shot. And we know that Trump, along with everybody else that supports him and everybody else who thinks this is a big problem, are going to do the best that we could do to try to ramp up every way possible that we can get these situations taken care of, with people exploiting the system, exploiting the birthright citizenship that was meant for our people. And I tell people all the time, Trump is my spirit animal, so anything that I could do to help him to get to help my problems and my people, I'm gonna do it. Maybe not voting for him, but I'm open to certain things. But anyways, I say keep y'all head up, you guys, and do whatever it is that you can in your power to help the situation. And I'll end with that.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. All right. He's gone. Well, let's get to Candy.
Hello, wonderful people. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. I am good. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing, Sister VX?
Hey, my love, how are you?
Hello, love. Okay, I'm doing good. So, y'all, look, I really was disappointed in the verdict, and I think it's a matter of national security. And I think that it's another example of how our laws and our generosity has been abused as Americans. What I believe is a national security issue is I'll put on my tinfoil kufi and say it like this. Imagine you wanted to if you wanted to have someone run for office. So what you do is you say, okay, I'm gonna get a whole bunch of people I think would make some good possibles, right? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring a bunch of them here. I'm gonna have them have babies over there, have the babies, let them get their citizenship. Once they have the baby, I'll bring them over here. Then I will school them, educate them, train them, make sure they are raised in the way I want them to be so they know what they need to do when they get in office and how I want them to move. They'll know exactly what to do because I can train them from the time they are like 5 all the way up until the time they are going to be in that position. Now, if I can get a bunch of them in there, we can win. Now all I have to do is have a bunch of people who aren't even legal to vote go in there and vote, and I put a whole bunch of money behind them. How many candidates could they really put in our elections? If you can't beat them, join them, right? But this is just my tinfoil kufi, right? So I'm thinking this is a matter of national security. I also think that this was a law that was for the babies of slaves. And I think they did it purposely because they want to say there's nothing specific for black people. Everything that is for you is for everybody. It's for immigrants. It's for whoever. You guys, it's nothing special. You know what I mean? So I honestly find that insulting as well. But I'll land there. But, I keep a tinfoil kufi on. But I bet you that's what it is. And I land.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you. Thank you. Let's get to Violin Mommy.
Hello, Afroleet. Hey, VX. I haven't been on TikTok in a long time. I agree with the tinfoil kufi, Candy. I agree. It is national security because nothing is making sense at this point. So you can have a baby here on purpose. You can go back to your country, then come back when you want to, raise money, send money back to your country, influence your country's government or whatever you have the family. I don't really care if it's the government or the family or a homeless person in your country. You're uplifting that country over the allegiance for ain't that treason? I thought that was treason. If you have an allegiance to the United States and you are trying to do something better for another country, then you're losing the allegiance. Anyway, I'm kind of over it all because it's been too shady. It's too wishy-washy. It's too many loopholes in it. You get what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm right. I may be wrong. I may be 1,000% wrong. But what I do know is I'm a citizen of this country, and my family is a citizen of this country. And it's just, I don't know. Then they come over here and they get into our government. That's where they lose me. So you're able to have dual citizenship. You're able to enrich the your country of your family, but you're also able to influence our government. Somebody make that make sense, please. Can somebody please make that make sense? Am I wrong? Please. I don't mind being wrong because BX has corrected me a couple times before. So if somebody could just tell me if I'm wrong, how does that make sense that you can put money in the pockets of your family's country while also influencing the government that you were born in? Okay, I'll just land there because I'm still confused.
Yeah. That's what it is. Let's get to EJ. Because I want to hurry up and get an open panel. So I want everything to kind of flow, but I want everybody to at least get sentiments off alone real quick. So let's get to EJ.
Yeah, basically, I wasn't surprised by the decision. It is the stupidity of the United States government for allowing these people to get into these positions, to have the power. let alone the set of skills to make decisions on the American people. This is what happens when you allow immigrants to come in and still they have that same mindset of having allegiance towards, other countries. They benefit their people when they get into these political positions. It don't matter if they're a manager at a McDonald's, they're gonna make sure that they get their people in before they give other people a chance, unless you buck dancing. But it doesn't surprise me that they came out with the decision. And this is what happens when you allow an open floodgate of illegal immigrants to come into the country, let alone politicians to have dual allegiance towards, rival, countries that can have negative influence on the United States government, let alone its people. They allowed these people to come in for decades and to get a, stepping stone over the Black Americans who paved the way towards them. And, hopefully they can do something about it. But, we did get a win with TPS that will make an example of, more immigrant groups to come. Because you already know that, YT supremacists, they don't like to take L's. And, I think they're going to be back with a vengeance when it comes to the, birthright citizenship. It's just been real bizarre when it comes to laws that supposed to benefit us. But when it comes to, illegal aliens and these other folks getting, laws and, packets of them getting millions, if not billions of dollars, they get everything that they want to. I think when it comes to these, birthright citizenship individuals, they still got to stand on their tippy toes and wonder about, ICE deporting their families and stuff. They ain't made it down the finish line yet. They always got to, be in fear of, somebody, hitting their doors with the battle ram. So, with that being said, hold this L, United States of America. Y'all did this to yourselves. And, hopefully y'all can redeem yourselves, because we already know when it comes to, conflicts and situations with the Black American community, it ain't going to be a, quick, finish to the finish line. It's going to be steps that we're going to have to take to, win this battle, if it's got to do with the Tethers, let alone the YT supremacy. So, it ain't over by a long shot. So, we know the Tethers are celebrating like they do in their homeland when they get some bushmeat. So, with that being said, I'll land my plane for now.
All right. Let's get you. How do you pronounce this? Farid Jackson.
Fahid.
Yeah, Fadi.
Farid Johnson. Gotcha. Okay, gotcha. All right, you got it.
So I have been looking into this birthright citizenship, and it's definitely, I agree with what some people said. It's definitely not over. First, hey to the host, hey BX.
Hey.
I'm doing great. So I've been looking into this, and I have heard that Trump and his team is already working on, plan B and C at the same time. But I feel as though we can represent ourselves in court to get this handled, get this taken care of. Because the thing that they portrayed in the media is as if Trump was trying to get rid of birthright citizenship, which he wasn't. Because if he got rid of it, it would negatively affect him as well, right? Because he's technically not a birthright citizen either. None of these people are. And I came up because I just wanted other opinions on if we had a way to prove that birthright citizenship was for no one but us, as well as birthright citizenship is also the loophole to get us reparations. But in order to do these things, we may have to basically expose the truth about birthright citizenship, which would get rid of birthright citizenship for everyone. Would you all be for that or against it? Like, what's your thoughts on that one? Like,
I think I see where you're going. So lately I've been researching JFK. JFK said, because of that whole land of the immigrants, New York is a melting pot, New York was built by immigrants. I started saying, where does talking point keep coming from? Where did it originate? So I believe JFK wrote a book, and I think it's called Nation of Immigrants, right? But when he addressed the quota system, he was stating, so he addressed two major things, the quota system and this being a land of immigrants. He states everybody in America are immigrants except for one group. That one group is us. Now, we could use that we're not immigrants, we're of this land. It's been recognized by President JFK, right? And quote him with the credible source, because I'm paraphrasing, my mind's a little foggy here. But lately, that's who I've been looking into. Where did that statement come from? So we have precedent that we're not immigrants. Even in the 19th century, they said we're not immigrants. Trump has also admitted that Black Americans do not get the credit they deserve for building this nation. So we have two presidents who address, and Trump is the reason why the 14th Amendment is up for clarification. We have two well-known presidents, whether you like Trump or not, declaring who foundational Black Americans are. And whatever we decide to do, we can use those two, and I'm sure there's more. More of y'all well-versed on the presidents could come up and tell me what other president declared us not to be immigrants. And so, yeah, the 14th Amendment does cover that as well, because we fought for it, right? It says we're not immigrants, and all our children are not immigrants either, and the president stamps that. So, yeah, we have proof and precedent out there that we're not immigrants and that the 14th Amendment was for us. It's just getting the immigrants clarifying it to agree.
All right, let's get to Denise.
Can I clarify something real quick?
You got like 20 seconds because I want to get to open panel as soon as possible.
Okay.
I can go on mute. I'm sorry. I'll go on mute, and then when you get the open panel, I'll come back. Go ahead.
Okay, no, right then.
All right, Miss Denise. So, because somebody I guess he on the panel now, asked me to elaborate. So basically, I have found some things. I feel like concrete evidence. Let me put it that way. That birthright that is BS. 14th Amendment is BS, and that they have illegally been holding our people under subjugation through the 14th Amendment this entire time, and through that they would owe us reparations.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to elaborate on that panel, but let's get to Sulan Pisces.
Hello, everybody. Hey, Auntie. I'm not surprised because, as stated, damn near everybody and their mama on the Supreme Court benefit from birthright citizenship, one way or the other. What's that? Sonia Sotomayor, she really does. So of course she was gonna vote against it. Like, no, you're gonna do deport me too. No, I cannot get deported. No. So of course she's one of them, and everybody else were descendants of that 14th Amendment, except for Clarence Thomas. So I can see that was gonna go no. I was praying that they would look into it and said no. In all actuality, this amendment was set for those who were descendants of slaves in the United States. And they should have kept it like that. And that's how it's supposed to be. But no, it's like everything that's meant for us, like everybody got to take a piece of it. And I'm tired of it. But at this moment, I'm with Trump. Congress get it together. But I don't know if it's going to go through Congress. But I really hope so, that they could just look into that and knock that out the park, because I'm so against that everybody is benefiting for laws and amendments that was meant for us, that was supposed to be for us. And right.
Sorry about that.
And this is pretty much this is the most ignorant thing ever. Like, usually I don't like Clarence Thomas, but a broken clock is right only twice. And this is one of the times he was right, and I'm glad he stood for us and stood for his people. Even though even though a lot of us will say he's a COON, but I'm gonna say I have realized a lot of COONs are COONs and will stand with us when it comes to the nitty gritty. So I'm glad that he said, no, this was for my people and my people only. And I'm glad he did that. And he got my respect for that. But I'm kind of disappointed at this time. I'm so disappointed.
All right.
So, can I say this? I want to say shout out to Sister Keisha. She told me the other president who would stamp that, we're not immigrants would be Ulysses S. Grant. But let's not, or Thomas Clarence did what needed to be done when he voted to keep the 14th Amendment or revert it back to its original meaning. Let's not forget the judge who was like, but Congress has the right to come back, I think he was saying. He was saying the way Trump was doing it was unlawful. However, Congress could really clarify or move to strike down birthright
Yeah,
citizenship.
Brett
Do I have that right?
Kavanaugh.
Yeah, him.
Yeah, his name is
Yeah.
Brett Kavanaugh, saying that that's too much. Which, I mean, I'm gonna save this for open panel. So let's just get to Rob real quick.
Yo, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, yeah, we got you.
Y'all for letting me up. Shout out to y'all, everybody on the panel. Some of y'all kind of already, I guess, elaborated on what I was gonna say. I pretty much agree with everybody's points. My thing is, if they want to disagree with altering the interpretation of the 14th Amendment and birthright citizenship, I guess another way that they could kind of go about it is banning or at least slowing down these immigrants that are coming over here 6 months, 7 months, 8 months pregnant that are obviously trying to anchor a baby here. Like Afro Elite was saying earlier, like the Chinese and different people like this that have all these schemes and scams where they'll come over here and be shacked up in hotels and all this other nonsense ready to anchor a baby. Obviously, they had to get through some type of immigration, whatever to get into the country. They shouldn't be allowed to be up in here on no type of, travel visa or whatever the case may be. They got to have that child in their homeland or somewhere else. And then if they want to come over here not pregnant and obviously still, if somebody's not pregnant, they could, obviously get knocked up in the country. But at the very least, people that are coming over here that are clearly pregnant should not be able just to come over here 8 months pregnant and then drop off a baby and then anchor themselves here. That's the whole issue with this birthright citizenship, from what I can understand. So that would be another way to at least slow this down. And last thing I'll say, and then land my plane, if the Supreme Court wants to keep bringing up us as descendants of slaves, saying that that's what the 14th Amendment was originally for, which is true, and they keep saying this, that is them admitting that they understand what our lineage and our American ethnic group is, and that we are rooted here as the descendants of the enslaved here in America. So if they're telling us that they understand that, there are people that are the descendants of the enslaved, and that's what this amendment was for, then they need to stop playing when it comes to our reparations, saying they got to do a 500-year study to figure out who's who and how are we going to label this and get around the whole race thing, because that's not constitutional. Okay, well, if you understand we're the descendants of the enslaved, that's a particular lineage of people and the freedmen here. So that's another thing that we could kind of use as leverage for that as well. But I'm going to land my plane.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we can start open panel now. Everybody tap the screen. We got like a lot of people in here, and ain't nobody been tapping the screen. I know we've been caught up in the conversation, so let's everybody tap the screen.
Afro, did EJ talk? Did I miss
Yeah, he
EJ?
talked. He went.
Okay.
So, opening this up, since we're mainly talking about the birthright citizenship, it was a stretch, to be honest. Now that it's all over, it was, I mean, I get Trump's point. I do. I get Trump's point. It's been an issue. Trump has not been the first president to state that that was an issue. You've had Democratic presidents and Democrats who've also stated that that was an issue. He's not been the first one. So they're making it seem like this whole premise is xenophobic. It's not. Okay. It's not. But for him to just completely change an amendment with an executive order, that's kind of like a stretch, and I felt it would be. So it could have, it was like a either or type of situation. Now, it's not changed, and the reason why, a lot, because once you change that, then you can't, it has to be applied to everybody across the board. So they're not going to be able to filter this out between, well, we want this to happen to non-European immigrants. You know what I'm saying? When you change that amendment is going to affect the Asians, the Hispanics, the Europeans, everybody. You're not going to be able to really filter that out. So they're all like, oh, no, we can't do that, because this is going to come back to bite us in the foot later on. is gonna buy this. But we don't really want to make that. That's too big. You know, a lot of them, if it was kind of, you know, different, they probably would have agreed to it. But Donald Trump is the type of person, he'll take like a sledgehammer to something that you might just need a little bit of nailing. Okay, he might take he'll take a chainsaw to something you need a scalpel for. So you know what I'm saying? He's very big and bold and extreme with that. And a lot of them are like, nah, because if we do sign off on this, then next thing you know, we will be trying to find a way to change this, to kind of alter this so it doesn't affect Europeans that way. So Europeans get to come over because they've been doing it. Pretty much all of the people on the Supreme Court, for the most part, are beneficiary of the exploitation of the 14th Amendment. So they were like, nah, can't do that. Can't do it. Okay. And as Brett Kavanaugh, I believe, is thinking, like, this is for the Supreme Court to pretty much allow the president to have absolute power, where now he gets to change amendments at whim with the 14th Amendment. We don't want to set that precedent. And the reason why is because you set that precedent for Trump. Okay, when Trump leave, and let's say JD Vance don't get in, let's say it's a Democratic president that gets in next. Once Trump leaves, now you just set the precedent that a president can
Oh, how's the panel doing? Hi, DX. Oh, I'm going.
Hi, Denise. How are you?
I'm good. I just wanted to, and I haven't spoken yet, but I just want to say to the panel, because someone has made a statement, and I just want to say this. I am FBA. My family's from Mississippi, Shaw, Mississippi, which is 5 hours away from Jackson. That's where my family is from. Go ahead.
Sorry
Okay.
Go
ahead.
Miss Denise. Afro, everything okay?
Yeah, it was some package at the door.
Okay. Miss Denise
right.
just let me know that she didn't get to speak during the first round.
Yeah, I thought you said she wanted to speak when we went open panel. I thought you
Oh,
said
I
you
didn't say
wanted
that.
to-
Did she
No,
say
no,
that?
no, brother. I'm gonna make it clear. I did speak on. I want to speak on open panel, but I knew you was away. But I just want to address something to the panel. That's all. Because you were on tea time. That's all. Brother. I just want to say this. The way I look, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna state this. I'm an FBA woman.
Mhm.
I don't come up in here and try to cosplay as nothing because I don't have nothing to gain by that. The government knows who you are. They could look up your stuff. The government is not stupid. Okay? My family's from Mississippi. I'm going to say that. My dad's from Alabama. We moved up to Massachusetts. I was born in Massachusetts. So I am an FBA woman all day, every day. And I can travel to 50 states without being stopped, whatever. And if they do stop me, I got everything on me.
Okay.
They can look it up and know that, oh yeah, this chick's FBA. So I just want to put that out there because it's very frustrating, and I know I look different from everybody else, but I'm not bi-ethnic. I don't have an ethnic
Okay,
background.
yeah, I get you. Did somebody say that? I don't know.
Yes, sir. On the panel, not on the panel, but in the comments. I just want to put that out there. And anybody who
well,
thinks that on the panel, I just want to make that as further notice. I'm
Now,
sorry.
Let me finish what I was saying before I forget. So, as far as that, they don't want to set that precedent. Okay, they don't want to set that precedent because they know for a fact that that's not going to only be used by Republicans for the favor of conservatism. Then you're going to have Democrats who be all like, hold on, y'all let Trump go ahead and change amendments with an executive order. So the next Democratic president, now, okay, you're going to have to let them do it. Okay. You've established an incredible precedent. That's a whole, that's an insane precedent that y'all established. And Brett Kavanaugh was like, no. Looking at it with foresight, we might not want to do that, but you can tell he's in agreement with Donald Trump's stance on the issue. Okay, so that's why he's saying, well, wink, wink, if Congress, if you did some with them, then yeah, we can look at it that way, and then I would sign off on it. You know what I'm saying? Because now Trump has, right now Congress is red, the House and the Senate. So he was kind of looking like, hey, if you just fix this and this and this and this, I'm gonna sign off on it. So that's kind of what he's talking about. That's kind of what he's on, right? So that's what I was thinking he's thinking. Okay. Clarence Thomas, and I am not a fan. I will be honest, I am not a fan of Clarence Thomas. I'm not a fan of Clarence Thomas. However, Clarence Thomas, he was on it. He was on it. He was standing on lineage. Okay. And he was talking, and he made a huge point to be on lineage in this specific circumstance. This does not mean that Clarence Thomas is writing everything. This don't mean we co-signing everything he gonna do in the future or did in the past. Okay. For the people who all like, oh, he a fan of Clarence Thomas now? Listen, when he right. I give it to anybody. And Clarence Thomas was correct when what he was saying about the 14th Amendment and the whole intent and purpose of the 14th Amendment being for us, because that was really the argument Donald Trump was making, even bringing that up in his executive order, bringing up Dred Scott in the Dred Scott decision. Okay, so we gotta elaborate on that. Now, a lot of people saying, does it need to be changed? Really? That would help. But ultimately, what is the problem? The problem is you have a whole bunch of people around the world who are up on game about the Constitution of America. Okay. Now, a lot of Americans, let's be honest, we pretty much don't know, for the most part, because it's not taught in schools. We don't know the Constitution of other countries like that. If we're traveling, if you're a well-traveled person, you might, or if it's a very popular country, you might. But for the most part, we don't really know the constitutional laws and ways to exploit their constitution. As Americans, we don't do that. Everybody else in the world, Europe, Asia, South America, the Caribbean, Africa, they all do. And they all be having their little organizations and little groups and things like that to come over and exploit the Constitution. All right, they do. So they'll come over here and they'll be all like, hey, y'all know, technically speaking, they can't, if you get pregnant, if you deliver the baby anywhere in America, bam, it's an American. You can deliver the baby and then next week be in another continent and live there for 20, 30 years, he's still an American or she's still an American. Word gets out really quickly when that's the fact. So word is out around the whole world. That's why you have all of these people. Once word has gotten out, that's why you have all of these people for the last few generations, going back even further than that. Because before, that was something Europeans was doing it, but they was trying to keep that hush hush. There was some Europeans and certain Asians were doing, but they was trying to keep that on the low. Eventually, word got out. Now everybody know about that. That's why it's been this big wave, this flux just coming in the last few years, last few generations, of them dropping babies off. They having baby left and right. They'll have more babies in America than they will back at home in their homeland. So really, the situation is that they'll come over with like student visas, work visas, vacations, whatever you call it, and they'll overstay and they'll have a baby. Here's two things we can do to solve that. It wouldn't even take the 14th Amendment to change. First off, if you are here for any reason outside of trying to become a citizen or whatever, and you are deliberately trying to get, first off, Getting pregnant when you enter the country needs to be evaluated. Okay? Because some women, they'll hide it. They'll be like 6 months pregnant, especially if they're barely showing. They'll be all like, oh, I just want to be here for a few months. And that's all it will take. You know? So they real good at hiding it. The Asians know how to do that. They had a whole racket thing going on with that. So they know how to hide their pregnancy really well. So they need a pregnancy test. Okay, you can come in. Okay, we're going to do this to see if you're here, if you're pregnant first. And then every so often we'll check up on you. Okay? And if you are, oh, how far along are you? Okay, you 2 months along? Okay, well, in the next 2-3 months you got to go. Bam, problem solved. Here's the problem though. Here is the problem. That would be done by, customs enforcement and ICE and all of that stuff. But the problem is when they have that intention, what they do is they run to sanctuary cities. Okay? Where they know ICE ain't gonna mess with them. All right? That's why all of these pregnant women in hotels and all that stuff, where do you see that at? California. Where you see that? A lot of the times when you look, 9 times out of 10, that stuff is in California. It's in New York. It's in Chicago. It's in DC. A lot of them, when they'll come over, they'll run to sanctuary cities because they know they'll have certain protections there. So they can drop their babies off. And bam, they'll have that. So what needs to happen is all of these sanctuary city protection rules and stuff like that, that needs to stop first. Because even with the 14th Amendment, right, to say that, if that went, that would be okay. All right, that would be cool. But with the sanctuary cities, that needs to be the biggest thing. All of that sanctuary city stuff, that's where they run to. They run over there. There's a whole bunch of people who've been here for decades, not legal citizens, because of sanctuary cities. We need to be having a conversation about that. Okay? We need to be having a conversation about that. We can have an open panel. And let me get to Denise, since you haven't really spoken fully.
Before Denise go, can I just, because Fahi keep bringing this up, are we for dismantling the 14th Amendment? No. And here's why. The 14th Amendment, and I'm reading y'all, was fought for and championed by the radical Republicans in Congress who drafted it to guarantee equal protection and citizenship to formerly enslaved Black Americans. The fight was driven by key congressional leaders, free Black Americans, and later solidified by Supreme Court battles. And that source is the U.S. Senate.gov. Plus 4 other sites. You know how AI does that overview and gives you the sources. They cite the sources. So why would we dismantle that, something that was guaranteed our citizenship? Citizenship that we had before the Native Americans and even those pesky Puerto Ricans and Virgin Islanders who were acquired around the 19th century. Why would we do that? It doesn't make sense. Nothing that we got in this country as Black Americans, Fahi, was easily given to us. It was always been a battle, and we're just at the beginning of the 14th Amendment clarification. And as long as we stick to the truth, to the facts, it's for us, right? The radical Republicans helped us. That's the Reconstruction era, if not mistaken. The least talked about era in Black American history. There's no need to get rid of it. We can't conform to immigrants. That's what they want us to do, to get rid of it.
All right. Denise, you want to go ahead and then we'll go with open panel.
Yes, I just want to say that, like I said, my friend comes from the South, and we were, I was born in Massachusetts. And Massachusetts is a sanctuary state. I don't know if you heard, brother, about they showed her online about Dr. Gerard Gobot, whatever her name is. I haven't lived in Massachusetts over 20 something years, but she said verbatimly on the panel out loud that immigrants helped build this country. That immigrants,
Yep. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. And I was offended because I'm like, what? The HELL, I love TikTok Shop. What did y'all build? Did you put down cement on the streets? On the sidewalk, excuse me. Did you put the asphalt? You didn't do nothing. Did you build anything here? No, you came in after the fact. So, and then they come up and say, well, we're part of America too. We, my family brought me here for a better life. That's not the same as building, sir, ma'am. You did nothing for this country. And I find it disrespectful to undermine black people. And I'm gonna land on this too. To say that you're black, and a lot of these people are trying to do this. Oh, I'm Black American. But then when you go deeper and say, well, where's your family from? Well, my father's black, but my mother's Jamaican, or my mother's Nigerian, or my father's Nigerian, and my father's FBA, or something like that. We really need to look into the backgrounds of these people, because too many times they're trying to use that to crowbar their way in, not only to reparations, but into our lineage and also other things as well. And we need to cut this out in our land.
All right, thank you. Let's have an open panel. Y'all want to anybody want to weigh in on
Yes,
what's been said before?
please.
Yeah.
I think the birthright
No,
citizenship
first off,
is.
just real quick, because then we have more people coming up. So does
I'm sorry.
anybody want to drop before I have to remove people?
Yeah, you can drop me. That's fine. You can drop me.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and drop too.
All right.
Appreciate being on.
Appreciate you, Rob. Appreciate you, Denise. Thank you very much.
Hey,
Can I just want to say real quick, and I'll be real quick. A lot of the safest countries in the world does not have unconditional birthright citizenship, and that's all I want to say. We have to look into. They have conditions. You have to be of the soil. One of the parents usually have to be of the soil for their child to, if they were born on the soil, for them to be considered a citizen. And I just think that for us to keep having unconditional birthright citizenship, that's where we're going to continue to have like flaws. We're going to keep failing in certain areas because we're just giving it willy-nilly. If somebody just say, hey, a matter of fact, if they don't even intentionally try to have a baby here, now their child is a citizen? No. I just think we need to look into having conditions. That's all I wanted to say. I'll drop though.
And not only that, one of the conditions is, depending on where you were raised, you shouldn't be able to allow to be in politics at all, period. The first person that comes to mind is Mandani. I'm all like, it is crazy. Wasn't Mandani, he was born in Africa, I know, but then he spent another time in, I think he was born in Africa, then he spent some time in Europe, if I'm not mistaken. It could be incorrect, but like, yeah, when you born, how are you the mayor of New York? I don't want to say anything incorrect, but we got two New Yorkers that I know of up here. How is that possible? Where could we go? Where could we go? Be born in America, and then I'm the mayor of some place in
New York,
the Middle East or something like that. Like, where would that go? How would that go?
So, Mandani to me is a plant from what I looked up, right? So he was born in Uganda, if not mistaken, but his parents are some type of Middle Eastern. He did admit to identifying as African American to get into college. However, when I checked his background in New York, he was actually upstate New York in Albany, and they had a special election somehow to get him to the city elections. That's as much as I know about him. He has a racist wife who said the N word. And it's reverting to me. We know I love New York, but I'm so fed up. The things that he wants to implement is harmful. So I was like, okay with the rent freeze, which means you'll still pay rent, but they can't raise your rent amount, even with the cost of living going up, right? But a landlord started speaking out, and he was explaining how much his taxes are. So in order to get everybody affordable housing so that the buildings don't get run down and the landlords start leaving New York City, y'all got to attack why the taxes are so high. So yeah, I got problems with Dummy. But go ahead, Sage. And we know what he said about who built New York. But go ahead, Sage, because Sage is a little more well versed than me.
No, I think that you're absolutely well, not think you are absolutely correct. So Zoran Mamdani was born in Uganda. He does identify as an African American. He definitely does. He was a state representative, but only a one-term state representative for New York State. I believe it was the 36th district, if I'm not mistaken, which is covers parts of the city, but not all of it. So yes, Mamdani. But what's interesting about his story again is that this guy's incredibly young. Where did he come from? I'm getting Obama vibes, to be honest with you guys. He's 34 years old, and he basically, again, the thing that raises my antennas was, Afro, you're from Chicago. How many terms did Obama serve as a senator before he became president? Was it one?
No.
It was one term. I know he was a senator.
It was two.
Two? Okay, but he was still fairly new on the scene in 2004, correct?
Yeah.
Which means if he served two terms, he came in with 2000, whatever. I'm getting that vibe from Zoran Mamdani. Clearly, he's going to try to run after New York City's mayor. He's going to try to run for higher office. Clearly, he's going to try to run for the governor. He's like the figurehead of what they're calling the new socialist movement of New York. So they're really pushing him, and he represents everything. He represents, like, being an immigrant. He represents, youth. He represents, trying to have change. The only thing that I did agree with on this last budget that passed, I'm pretty sure you're aware of it, BX, is that he's not giving extra money, no more money to the police. And I'm okay with that. You should not be funding them to the degree that they are a standing army. But he definitely was placed here. I don't know exactly by whom, because you cannot become the mayor of a city like New York if you're not well connected. And again, this guy is just a one-term assembly member. You don't get connections in New York City in just 4 years. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So
Let me correct myself, Sage. Obama actually served 3 terms.
3 terms.
It was 3. Yeah.
Not around. He still was fairly young. He wasn't.
He was
80 years
very
old
young when he served. He was, I think, he almost broke a record, I think, if I'm not mistaken, for being the youngest at that time to serve on the Senate.
Hold on. I'm not. BX, can you do me one favor? Can you look up who's the youngest mayor to ever hold office in New York City? Because it might be Zoran Mamdani, believe it or not. You know what I mean? He might be the youngest to ever serve. And again, that brings me cause to pause. Where did he get those connections at? How is he able to serve? This guy was not born on, U.S. soil. Not that you have to be born on U.S. soil to be the mayor of New York City. That is not a requirement. But I believe he was like a naturalized citizen at that too. I don't even believe that. I would have to look more into it. But again, he represents everything that they want to push forward. So that's why he is a mayor of one of the most powerful cities. It may not be the most, but it's definitely one of the most powerful cities in the nation.
Land that plane, Brooklyn. I got your answer.
Oh, no, I found the answer, Auntie.
You got it too? Who you got? Who's the answer?
Okay, so the youngest of all times was Hugh J. Grant, the youngest mayor in New York City history. He was inaugurated in 1889 at the age of 30 years old. But during that time, that was kind of old. Like, you was old at 30 in 1889. But in the recent record is Madami. He became the city's youngest mayor elected in a century when he took office at the age of 34. He don't look 34. He look old. He look like he like 44. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna stop right there. I'm about to have my ADHD rant.
I think Africa will age you, because those ladies be like, I'm 25, and they look like 60. I mean, they sound like it to calling me a granny. But yeah, go ahead, Sage. I just wanted to get that answer.
They age rapidly.
Yeah, and then I want you to weigh in also on the Supreme Court's recent rulings, whether that's birthright citizenship or temporary protected status, all that.
You know,
Y'all
those
come
aren't
up. Let's
even.
have this
Well,
conversation.
first
And
of all,
don't forget to
peace to
tap
the
the
family, peace
screen.
to
Don't forget to tap
EJ,
the screen.
peace to BX. I'm sorry I didn't greet all of you guys when I was up here. Peace to Solani, Pisces. I can't see your full name, but peace to everybody. Peace to the family.
Just Sulan.
Yes, ma'am. Peace to all of you guys. My opinion. I was staying offline with this one, Afro. You know, I was offline because I didn't want to really
Lord,
say how I really
Jesus.
felt. But let me say this. I think that we need to be. I think that we need. Oh my God!
Scared me when you put it up. I said,
Look 34. They don't look 34. They look 44. I'm sorry.
I think that we need to be. I think that everything needs to be lineage specific. I am very proud of the 14th Amendment. I think it's needed. I know BX was addressing that earlier. The 14th Amendment is definitely needed, but everything needs to be lineage specific. What do I mean by that? Recently, especially here in New York, we've been advocating for
Troy out there.
anti.
He at that corner right there.
We've been
You
advocating
go to the
for
gate.
anti-black
Only
hate
one
crime
mic at a
bills,
time, sir.
right? And now I'm starting to think that even that is problematic. We don't need an anti-black hate crime bill. We need an anti-foundational Black American hate crime bill. Everything needs to be specific to us because, as you see, things can get applied elsewhere. I agree, just like you said, Brother Afro, I agree 100% with standing on business with Clarence Thomas. I do not agree with a lot of things that he does or has done, but I agree with his statement that he put out about the 14th Amendment. He truly understands exactly what it was made for, and I salute him for doing that. Now, if anyone had any questions about where does Ketanji Brown Jackson's lineage go to, or where does her allegiance lie, you just got your damn answer. So that lets you further know. I already expected that from Sonia Sotomayor. We already expected that from her. I spoke to Brother Black about this earlier in the week, and it was a long shot because, again, the law has been applied it's been used up so much throughout the damn centuries that people truly don't bring it back to the foundation of why it was created, so they just apply it elsewhere, but it truly belonged to us. Now, moving forward, this shows why reparations needs to be specifically lineage based. So if there's any confusion out there from anyone about why does reparations need to be lineage based, this is why. This is the reason why, because they're going to apply it elsewhere. You need to keep the reparations conversation lineage based. You need to keep the hate crime bill lineage based. If you want non-taxed, citizens not being taxed, whatever case, that needs to be lineage based. Everything needs to be lineage based. And with that, I'm gonna land.
exactly. For the simple fact that we see they're appropriating the word black. When we examine New York City government or the government at large, you'll have an Afro-Latino such as Richie Torres of the New York Black Caucus and shit like that. When we look at our government, the federal government, right? Yvette Clarke, who is out of New York, a tether from New York, a legacy seat holder because her mother was in politics. She's on the Congressional Black Caucus, the Haitian Caucus, the Caribbean Caucus. She actually delineated the Caribbean first. And they get a separate check mark, right? So from 2009, she was fighting for the Caribbean to have their own checkbox on the census. That was approved in 2024. That form is so they could be accurately counted, and then their population funded because they have a unique experience and all this other shit. So we see how they delineate and get things specifically for them. But guess what? They could come over into our set aside, our intangibles, and mark black and be chosen over us. And here's a prime example, and then I'm going to land. There's a Jamaican Chamber of Commerce, a Haitian Chamber of Commerce. We have the National Black Chamber of Commerce, and there's another Chamber of Commerce, the U.S. something, that's designed for black people, specifically black Americans. Do you know that even though we can go fill our applications for whatever services they have, we don't benefit? Why? Because they are getting everything. And guess who benefits even more than us? Anglo-Caribbeans. And I ain't never heard of the term until I looked it up. When I was examining the Chamber of Commerce, is because what I do is I say, tell me specifically what the Caribbeans have gotten from their representatives versus what their representatives are giving foundational Black Americans or U.S. freedmen. And we're not getting anything. Zero, it says low to moderate. And then they said, you're right, y'all don't benefit. Even not Saxons, Anglo-Caribbean. Did y'all even know that was a term? That's white tea Caribbeans will benefit from the Jamaican Chamber of Commerce and the Haitian Chamber of Commerce more than a Black American would. But they're in our government. So everything has to be lineage specific to lock them out, to make the distinction that the ones who built this nation deserve what they're asking for and more. And we got to cut out the way they appropriate us. And changing our ethnonym, our nomenclature, however you want to call it, is not going to work. Anything that we decide to call ourselves, they're trying to tether onto, except foundational. Why do you think they go around in every room? You could say, I'm an American Indian. This is how I feel. Oh, you FBAs. Because they know they can't tether onto FBA.
BX, I want to add too, because I heard Afro, you posted something on the page that when you guys held, a live before, and someone came up here, I guess it was a Caribbean, that said that there are no specific Caribbean scholarships that are available specifically for Caribbeans. And that, I don't know about every other state, but that's a lie. In New York, they do have scholarships specifically for Caribbeans. There's a college, what is that? In Dykeman, that's called Boricua College, and I forgot exactly where the address is, but it's on the west side. They only accept I'm not going to say they only accept Caribbeans, but there are college in that college you can fill out for a scholarship, and one of the criteria is you have to be of Caribbean or Latino descent. So me, you, nor BX would qualify. With that, I'm gonna land.
You see that? And they'll sit up there and swear to us there's nothing at all that they get. And not only that, they'll also go ahead when they get something, and they'll do okay for themselves. And all right, nobody hating. But when they get something, they'll turn around and be all like, man, y'all on food stamps and y'all this and y'all that. And we came over here. I remember playing a video of Jessie Wu, who is Haitian, talking about when she was going to school, all her Black American friends was in apartments, small apartments on Section 8, and their mama was doing, she said, stuff, which y'all know the implication of that. And she went home to a 6-bedroom apartment, house, 6-bedroom house, because her mama just worked so hard. I'm like, okay, all of them tell this. All of them say this. First off, a lot of that is greatly exaggerated. A lot of that's greatly exaggerated. It was a 6-bedroom house, but it was like 2 houses split. The building might have had 6 bedrooms, but you was only living in one part of it, so you only had 2 bedrooms. You can't count the whole building. Yeah, we lived on like 2-3 acres. Well, that was an apartment complex, so that doesn't really count. You living on 2-3 acres. So they'll exaggerate and they'll lie and they'll say stuff like that to make it seem like they were just living it up, living large. That's number one. Then number two, when they do get their little 2-bedroom apartment and they studios and stuff like that, I mean, that's cool. Nobody hating. But they only getting that because they got help. They got a lot of help. There's a rule not to say or speak about the help that they're getting. There's like, okay, these are secret meetings. Only we're not supposed to advertise it, and the government subsidizes it. Okay, so for the sake of stopping backlash, don't advertise this. However, tell your friends and family that you trust, and they'll go behind. That's why you will see like a bunch of parked cars at a bank at like 1 o'clock in the morning. It's like, that's kind of, why is this bank is not nearly this full in a day. You'll see like a parking lot full, a library at like 12 o'clock on a Sunday, in a parking lot full of cars. You be like, what's going on? Because they have a lot of secret little meetings and classes and courses and stuff. They do that. And they're not supposed to let you know about it. They're not going to advertise it. They're not going to say anything. And then when they have an economic floor, next thing you know, they'll be going around flexing like they came over here and got it out the mud. And they're not coming over here, and Dr. Claude Anderson was saying that they're not coming over here already having a bunch of degrees. That's something that they'll say, oh no, my mom came with a degree. My dad came with a degree. They came with a business. They're not, a lot of them, for the very most part, not coming over here with any skills, any credentials, any degrees. Some of them are. And a lot of those who are coming over here, those were the elite ones that were coming early on. They've been here. All right. But a lot of the more recent ones, they're not coming over with no degrees, no nothing, no skills, no certifications, no nothing. And they're taught all of that stuff. They're not even coming over here speaking fluent English. And they be having little English classes that are paid for by who? The government. The government is paying for it. Little grants and stuff like that you don't know about. Okay.
Can I ask a question to Afro, to the mothers in the room and the fathers? No disrespect to the fathers too.
Yeah, and then Candy wants to say, y'all know this is an open panel, so y'all can go ahead.
I'll make this very quick for the mothers and the fathers. When you have children and you send your children to school, do you have to pay for their books and their textbooks and pencil supplies and erasers and things like that, papers, obviously notebooks? Do you guys have to pay for that?
I mean, my parents did.
All day.
But I know my parents, yeah.
In New York,
everybody I know in my family, they had to.
Yeah. So the migrants, they got all that for free. There was a program. I don't know if it's still around. Most likely it is because Mamdani's mayor now. So they got vouchers in which they can get all of that for free.
So in New York, we also had TAP, right? Because I used to go to the College of New Rochelle.
Yeah, we did.
So there's we get that for free, right? It's a special grant that we don't have to pay back, correct? Yeah. So
it's a grant.
Now, are you saying outside of TAP they have
I'm not even talking about college. You're speaking about college,
Yes.
DX. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about children, like early childhood children, like that. Where in which you have to buy that. Go ahead, Candy.
I'm sorry,
It's
y'all.
always something. It's okay, sweetie. It's always something, and it's always hush hush. So one of the things that we're starting to see is that one of the reasons the 14th Amendment is disrespectful to FBAs is because it diluted the specific justice, protections, and lineage-based reparations owed to direct descendants of enslaved people in America, right? So the dilution of specificity, right? So critics argue the amendment was originally drafted during the Reconstruction era specifically to secure the citizenship and civil rights of newly freed Black people. Over time, courts expanded its protections to include corporations, immigrants, women, and other groups, which some FBA advocates feel watered down its original purpose. So then you have the birthright, right? So then they went on to just say the inclusion of birthright citizenship applies to anyone born in U.S. soil. So what it does is it automatically grants the same foundational rights to newly arrived populations without addressing the unique multi-generational economic and social damage inflicted on enslaved descendants. So what we are looking at is the fact that this also waters down the little bit of something that we were able to get, right? Our ancestors. Because remember, they had a separate bill for Native Americans, which I'll say that for the purposes of this live to be respectful, but they had a separate bill for their citizenship, right, as Americans. So every time you look up, they are always creating a situation where they are discrediting us and they are giving everybody else something and not us. And the more we try to be, appropriate with everybody, the more we are adding another 50 years of struggle to us. That's how I feel about it. By being understanding, we're adding more trauma to us that we will have to endure. I say Trump should, nip it in the bud with Congress.
You know
And
I
what?
I
just want to
land.
add this real quick.
Go ahead, Sugar.
Okay. Hey, BX.
Hey.
Yeah, I just want to, I just want to add this real quick. Just as encouraging, they're gonna get their pound of flesh regardless, right? We know the Trump administration is gonna get their pound of flesh, and what I mean by that is, they might have struck it down, but these people are not gonna be able to work, y'all. Right now, they are checking Medicaid. I can't say what I do, but they are literally combing through Medicaid right now. So, even though right now they're doing it right now. We have all types of memos. They are coming through DHS, they're coming through Medicaid. Any type, they're not going to be able to get anything. They are going to starve them out. So the Republican Party will get their pound of flesh. It's happening right now. So they might, be able to stay here or maybe not stay here, their kids or whomever. But if those kids need benefits or they have to go down to the welfare office because it's not them getting help. It's welfare, y'all. Anything that you do not make out of your pocket, you don't have a W-2 or W-9 is welfare. So they, your kids, whatever little Maria in them, little Ahmad in them, whatever they're getting, if your parent has to come down and receive those benefits, that goes to free lunch, that goes to Head Start, that goes to anything, Medicaid, you name it, they will not be able to touch it. So you might be here, but you won't be able to do anything. So that's happening. And I just wanted to hop up here and say about, because I am a New Yorker, about the Mandani thing. Mandani did not come out of nowhere, y'all. I mean, technically he did, but he's through the taxi medallion pipeline. Just do a quick little Google search on that, where he sat out and did the 15-day hunger strike with the taxi medallion. They propped him up, the taxi folks. So he's very deep in his Arab community. Don't get it twisted. All of that is for bells and whistles. He's not no African American. He's an Arab, and Arabs like that Arab money. He's very deep in the medallion community. But yeah, they're gonna start them people. I just wanted to hop up here and tell y'all that it's happening right now. We are actively asking folks, not asking them, but we're actively combing through and seeing where people are from and if they have a passport or a birth certificate. Now they're asking for birth certificates for driver's licenses. It's happening in Florida where you have to speak English to take the test. It's happening in California where they're combing through these driving CDL schools where people are popping up taking tests for immigrants. They are going to drown them out. It is happening. It's happening right now.
All right.
For
Now
that.
hold on. Cookie, you want to go ahead? You
Yes,
get it.
thank you. So what I wanted to say was, as far as these scholarships, our youth is really, really hurt. And I believe every generation, even ours, hurt when it comes to these scholarships, because I was scrolling down my timeline and I seen the Juneteenth scholarship and I saw the recipients. And I went and looked, and I know one of the young ladies, she's Black American for sure, but maybe one other was Black American out of like 15 for Charles County in Maryland. And I'm like, how did they get the scholarship? And it didn't go to the lineage. So I went in the comments and I said, is this lineage based? Are these Black Americans that got this scholarship? And a lot of people were saying, no, that's not one of the something that you have to have. It's not by lineage. Anybody can apply for it. So I went to I went to AI and I asked them, what's going on with the scholarships? And clearly they said that everybody can double dip but Black Americans. We are the only ones that are not able to double dip. So I screenshot it and I put it in the comments and no one responded.
I've been saying that for a while. Well, a lot of people talk about, what is y'all problem? Why do y'all don't like immigrants so much? I've been saying that for a while. They've been coming over here and they can double, sometimes depending, they can maybe even triple dip, because there are certain things for immigrants, for their immigration status. Okay, they get to dip in that pot. Then things for Black in general, they get to dip in that pot. And sometimes if there's some other intersectional identity. If they're a woman, they get to dip in it where this is a women's only thing. They get to dip in that part. If they're like LGBT whatever, then they get to dip in that pot. If they got a disability, they get to dip in that pot. So I'm talking about they eating off of several plates, and we barely
Zap.
eating off one.
And
Zap.
also it said that they don't see us as a race of people. They see us as a ethnicity. So we're not able to get anything just for us, which is diabolical. So everybody that comes over and claim that their ethnicity and ours get to get theirs and ours.
Who said they don't see us as, or did they change?
When I was
'Cause-
asking chat GPT, it was I may be mixed up because I can't go look at it now because I'm on the phone. But it
Okay.
was explaining it to me why they're able to do that.
So here's what I've been able to uncover from everything, right? Around the 19th centuries, around, I want to say 2008, 2010, they made and I know we don't like this term, that term African American broader. Notice when you're doing research, it'll say, if you ask them what is a politician's policy, or if a certain program is just for Black Americans / African Americans, they'll say, no, this politician works off of a Pan-African ideal and broader African American framework. What that means is that they understand that we are Black Americans, U.S. descendant of chattel slavery, the era, because I know not everybody in this country was enslaved. But those who could trace their ancestors to that era, they understand who we are, but to include everybody, they operate off of a Pan-African framework. So they calling them African American. They changed our ethnicity. It lost its meaning. And Sage is very, very well versed in reparations, and they've been finding out a lot of stuff about that. So Sage, can you clarify what I'm trying to say? Because I don't know if it's coming off correctly. How they changed the meaning of our ethnic group to the broader, more inclusive.
Obama.
He may not be there. 2016. Oh, there you go. Go ahead, Sage.
Yeah, absolutely correct. Yes. So
Thank you.
African American is an all encapsulating term. Anyone like my sister said earlier, Zoran Ramdani is an African American. That's an all inclusive term. That's why in New York itself we have paperwork that if you are Haitian, if you are Jamaican, Guyanese, whatever the case is, you are still an African American. It does not specify your lineage, and they do that on purpose. That's why when paperwork comes up, specifically dealing with situations that affect specific ethnic groups, it's all encapsulated. So that's why earlier when I stated about the whole anti-Black hate crime bill, we need to change the verbiage on that as well. I realized the error in my ways, going out thinking that, okay, it will affect all Blacks, but no, in the wake of the whole 14th Amendment situation, we need to make this lineage specific too, just like certain religious groups in New York. They have lineage and ethnic, ethno-religious specific laws that protect them when it comes to how they live in their communities. They are allowed to do certain things that we need to be allowed to do certain things as well. So as far as the whole African American term, yeah, you need to throw that out with the bathwater. That's not going to work for us. We need to get rid of that as soon as possible.
They understand that we have an ethnic group, and what who and what makes us distinct from everybody else, but they will say around the 19th century they changed it or made it more inclusive of all.
All right, Aboriginal hasn't went yet, so let's get to Aboriginal.
Hey, peace to the panel. Peace to the panel.
Peace to you, brother. Talk to us, man. Talk to us.
Man, y'all making some good points. A lot of these immigrants do double dip into our benefit, using a lot of the blueprints and things that was initially used or put into place for us to benefit off of civil rights, a lot of the HBCU administrations and things of that nature. But like I said, they get refugee resettlement programs that a lot of our people can't get, which is direct cash and other funding as well, while also getting uh, welfare benefits. So yeah, like you said, they're triple dipping on multiple different levels. Like I said, they use the African American card as a nuance for this admission to get into these particular programs that were directly allocated for our people. So you're on point.
All right. Let's get to God's child. You just came up. All right, I guess you didn't. Okay, EJ, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I agree with everything Brother Sage was saying. They do need to update these categories when it comes to different ethnic groups. I think Caribbeans should have their own category. Asian, Africans definitely, because they like to, double dip. Just because your forehead is the equivalent of crushed concrete, don't make you the same as a Black American. Because y'all have different things that y'all go on, that y'all have in your homelands. Because most of these Africans don't even identify themselves as, Black. They identify themselves as their tribal group. So if you want to be an Igbo or Fulani or whatever, if you want to be from the Bushmeat tribe, I think you should be a Bushmeat American, and you should put your specific, country of origin in Africa in that category. So if you're from Somalia, and if you're in America, you're a Somalian American. You shouldn't have no connections, let alone any authorization to be in our politicians or our politics. Because when Black Americans go to these different countries, you don't see none of us in their politics. They wouldn't even allow it. It's like me being Chinese and I go to Japan. You think they finna allow me to get into Japanese politics as a Chinese? Because they got a long history of not liking each other. These people play games in three-card Monty when it comes to the Black American, lineage. In that African American term, anybody can be that. You got freaking Elon Musk out here claiming himself as an African American, and I think he comes from, Polish, if not Dutch descent or something. So when these people come up here just talking crazy about they African Americans, they want to be Black, they want to be this, they want to be separated when it comes to, getting those benefits, but they want to all come together when Black Americans out here, helping them benefit off the backs and the blood, sweat, and tears of our ancestors. So, these people play games when they want to. They want to be separated and they want to delineate when they get in their own way, but they want to come together when they getting swamped up by ICE or these white supremacists. Because, it's a difference between, Black Americans giving, the Beats by Dre to one of these white supremacists. And there's a difference between an African getting swarmed up by, two Chinese dudes that's 4'8", and you got a swarm of Africans around not doing nothing. So, it's levels to this thing when it comes to, Black Americans handling their business and other immigrant groups not doing a damn thing about it unless they have, Black Americans helping them. So, with that being said, I'll land my plane for now. Thank you for letting me speak, bro.
All right.
Hey, EJ.
But let me actually harp on that.
Wait. The Clinch is a troll. He's an African troll.
Oh, okay.
Now, if you want to have a conversation, you can drop him. You can drop him.
Before you get hit with the stick, man.
So I want to say this. One moment. Do you want to invite a Haitian up to have a conversation with them? That's different, with the TPS.
Is there a Haitian requesting up? I don't see a Haitian.
No, I'm not saying. No, they're not. But the guy was an African. So I mean, if you want to talk to anybody, let's talk to a Haitian. Yeah,
he wanted to troll. Yeah, we not trying to do that right now. But to what you said,
we had the richest quarter.
To what you said, I also want to say this, because when people talk about delineation, people make it seem like that is being done out of some type of xenophobic intent or malice to other groups of people or anything like that. People try to make it seem like that, but actually no. Delineation and disaggregating exactly different ethnic groups is going to help everybody. It's the thing America needs, which is why you see so many people, even though they're begrudgingly doing so, even in the YT community, they're doing it. Everybody knows, like, actually, we're coming into a different era now, nationally, and everybody's really starting to do that now. Because that's what needs to happen, because people come from different cultures, different backgrounds, which means there's different there's different claims to different things. We have different claims to a land. We have different claims to representation, political, economic, okay, representation. There's different issues and grievances other people have gone through. For instance, the plight of, I'm going to take ourselves out of the picture for a second. The plight of Hispanics. You say, well, Hispanics go through something. Okay. Do Dominicans go through the same thing that Mexicans go through? Exactly. Do they have the same culture, the same history, the same plight? There's similarities. There's similarities, of course, because they are Hispanic, but yet not necessarily. Okay? Society doesn't necessarily treat them exactly the same. Okay? They don't treat Mexicans, El Salvadorians, Brazilians and all of that the same as everything. So no, there's disaggregation among them that needs to happen. Us as foundational Black Americans, right? We're the centerpiece and the core of that, because other groups of people who are coming in and under the Constitution, they are Black as far as the race is concerned. Their race is Black. However, they're coming from different backgrounds, different cultures, okay, different environments and different history, okay, with a different a different method of doing things. So when you say, well, we have our first Black president, actually, no, that's not a representation on us. Do you understand that? If anything, that's a representation on Kenya. But the way Kenyans do things, their history in this country, in this nation, has always been different. We got the first Black this turn out, okay, or the only Black male governor is Wes Moore. Wes Moore is Jamaican. Jamaicans do not see, their perception of America is different because the culture of their people is different in America. The history of their people is different in America than ours. So their perception, therefore their actions when they get into these places is going to be different. Do you understand that? This is why delineation is necessary, because then it's going to clear a lot of things up about who needs to be placed where. Where do we need to go to solve problems? This is what we need to be on. We need to be on solving problems. And we got way too many problems that are under this ambiguous umbrella. Okay? And with that being said, then you have a whole lot of people who are like, actually, what we really need to do is we really need to go vote for Democrats. We really need to go do this. We really need to do that. Well, of course you're saying that. Of course you don't want Roland Martin. Of course you don't want TPS to end because you're Haitian. Of course. But you can't sit up there and act like, if that's the case, I get it. But say that then. Because you're sitting up there trying to act like this is now an issue for Black folk, Black American folk, and you're not that. So you can't speak on that. All right? And we have a whole bunch of people who are coming up trying to be representatives, trying to create initiatives and have their hand on the steering wheel, steering the ship in the direction that they see best fit. And the reason that they're doing that is because they're from another place. They're a foreigner. They wouldn't allow it if we did it to them. They wouldn't allow it. So that needs to be corrected now.
Can I say something?
Right.
I agree with you, right? And Sage can confirm what I'm about to say. They have never identified as Black, especially during the 1990s. This is fairly new with our reparations hearings the longer it goes on. In fact, I already gave the example how Yvette Clarke, a legacy seat holder in our politics, who is also a child of Jamaican immigrants. She's Jamaican, visibly cultured, the way she upholds Jamaica here in our land. So she saying us, we, our. Joy Ann Reid saying us, we, our should no longer be tolerated. They have to be called out. But these people are in positions or seen as credible experts when it comes to speaking on our culture and why we shouldn't or should have. That has to stop. I kind of wanted to go back to the Haitian TPS ending, the whole we built this country. We are a melting pot. We will never truly be a melting pot as long as y'all keep subjugating foundational Black Americans and saying it's time we move on from slavery. And Yvette Clarke and Afro showed it when she said there were so many people who came into this country and now that's the point where we should move on or something like that. You showed the clip on one of your lives, Afro. Like the disrespect of it all. America will never be as great as she could be. And yes, I said she's the real motherland, y'all. Until it removes that stain off its fabric. What is the fabric? What is the stain? The stain is the bloodshed of our ancestors, the forced bondage. Even our free people had to move a certain way. So when Haitians say that immigrants built this nation, they weren't the immigrants that were called in when we stopped working for free. It wasn't them. It wasn't the melanated immigrants. And if you're a TPS holder and you were here only 16 or maybe even 24 years, that statement is damn sure not for y'all. Y'all weren't even allowed in this here great country. And even by the 1920s, the hard work was done. You know what I saw? A picture of the Holland Tunnel and Black construction workers. You know what Black construction workers? Black American construction workers, even in the 1900s. Now y'all are coming in. We got to bring the Latinos in places like Harlem, locking our Black American men out who are qualified to do construction work, locking them out of job opportunities in Harlem. So this isn't a land of immigrants. It's actually the land of Black Americans. We built this nation from the economy to every crook and crevice, every brick laid and all that. Okay, every track laid for the railroads, minus a few, you know. But the Haitians are pissing me off. They're talking about how proud they are, they're fighters, they're this and that. And I'm hearing real audio of women and children who are being raped as a WAR tactic. If you are a military-aged man who is Haitian fighting to stay here under a TPS, sir, you're a chocha. Get it?
That's right.
Go suit up, boot up, go over there. But I also referenced JFK. The land of immigrants came from him, something he said. However, he said there's one group who are not immigrants, and that is foundational Black Americans. We did the hard work. We did the heavy lifting. Y'all came in when the smoke cleared, okay? Don't ever say that foul shit again, because the only thing y'all are doing are making us mind our business. And don't ever, if you're an immigrant, don't come in here talking about, well, just vote Republican. You're the Black MAGA. You're Triple K. Our ancestors, foundational Black American ancestors, fought for every civil right and liberty that we have, and the kindness was extended to y'all. Let me explain something. They underlie for our right to vote, but not to remain stupid. We don't have to vote Democrat when Democrat is a party of slavery. What sense does that make? I even read who fought, I'm gonna land here after, fought for the 14th Amendment, the radical Republicans, not the radical Democrats, y'all. Give it a break. That's all I wanted to say, Afro.
All right. I mean, let's not give let's not give too much credit to the Republicans. I know we got ire with the Democrats right now, but the Republicans ain't do what they supposed to do either. For real.
Okay, can we say Republicans of a certain time period? So when I say radical Republicans who fought for the Freedmen's Bank, the 14th Amendment, that's who I'm crediting.
I mean, we can give them credit for the wins that they did do, but those are the same Republicans who abandoned Black Southerners during Reconstruction and allowed Jim Crow to go on for as long as it did.
Okay, thank you for the class.
So I want the audience to understand that we've been, and when the Republicans we're talking about, mostly these were foundational Black Americans who were Republican. Okay. Where a lot of these people, there were some abolitionists here or there, but a lot of these people, these were the people during the Reconstruction era who are black, who are Republican at the time. Okay, so we really get ourselves to think. So when you see when you see a modern day current Republican talk about, hey, Republicans did it. No, not really. A party didn't come and save us. We saved us. Now, we were using the Republican Party to do that, but it was us. All right. So give us all the credit. I just want to say that.
Thank you, Afro. You know, I'll give us the so let me clarify. I read Radical Republican. I do understand in places like South Carolina in 1876, there was a town who is now a ghost town, right? I had an ancestor that used to live there, y'all. That's why I know this story. This history, because it's not a story, it's history. And primarily, it was an all-black town. Primarily, they were Republicans. So when we say Radical Republicans for the 14th Amendment, are we saying black radical Republicans? That's what I just want that. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can I piggyback off what you said, Brother Afro?
Real quick, but hold on. Let's get to Lady Hawk because I don't think she's spoken yet.
Oh wow, I didn't even know. I must have accidentally got pulled up. No, y'all go ahead. Y'all doing your thing. That was an accident. I'm listening. You can drop me.
Yeah,
Go ahead, EJ.
Yeah, the more that we have these conversations, the more that these people, not only in the comment section, show their skin, they just mutate and become something different. It's sort of like it's sort of like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. It's something 1 minute, then it just evolves into something different. The more we have these conversations, the more that these people show their hatred for their own group of people, let alone their countries. So when we have these conversations and we talking about what these people have done to the United States government, let alone the system that they have cheated and scammed off of for the past couple of centuries, they expose themselves by not only not liking their own people, but not even wanting to have the nuts or the set of skills that they have gotten in the United States of America to take back to their countries and to build themselves up. Now, you just heard BX say they have recordings of women and children in Haiti being harmed in an extreme manner. And you mean to tell me that you can sit here and wave your Haitian flag? This can go on. This can apply to any immigrant group worldwide. If you have a group of people like that are being harmed by people that's coming into your country, matter of fact, even your own people, shouldn't that give you the chance to show your set of skills that you got in front of the United States of America, the resources, the money, the millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars that you have gotten, if not stolen from the United States of America? Shouldn't you take those set of skills to go back to your homeland and help your people? See, I think the reason that they don't like us so much that no matter how many times that these people try to keep us down, no matter how many times they try to get these other immigrant groups to pile on us, they just can't truly defeat us. No matter how many times they try to, put obstacles against us. See, when it comes to these other groups, like you see a couple of spaces ago, you had one of these Haitian terrorists come up and say, if you can't beat them, join them. They already given up and gave down to kiss the ring of the white supremacists. We have never did that a day in our life as a people fully. Now, when it comes to these, buck dancers and these individuals that like to kiss the Democratic or the Republican shields, wets, see, we can separate them. They haven't had a set of standards, let alone a set of rules to regulate their people when they sell them out for, bushmeat and, Red Cross rice. They don't have, like regulations to get rid of the, sellout class. They look at us as an example of what they should be in their countries, and that's why they hate so much. So when it comes to these people being in these conversations, I really don't find them very respectful. And you've been very reasonable with a lot of these people. And I thank God that we have, people like you in the Black American grassroots. I would want these people from immigrant backgrounds to use you as an example of something that they could be in their homeland if they get off their ass and do the work, since they call Black Americans lazy and stuff. So, they can learn from us and actually, be the little brother to us being the big brother. So, you can each one teach one and reach people if you actually sit down and learn. So, with that being said, I land my plane for now.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yep. Let me also add, since we're here, let me also add a lot of the issues, and they know they're wrong.
Oh, brother, you gotta mute your mic.
Oftentimes, I normally I don't I really don't ever do this, and I make it a rule not to do this. But someone DM'd me. I don't know who she is. She's Haitian, clearly, based off of what she was saying. Very mad about a video on my page about the TPS. And I didn't even record it, or I mean, it was on YouTube. But my brother Melrose, he took a sound bite of that and he posted that, and I reposted that. This woman DM'd me, very upset. I'm talking about crazy hostile. I'm not gonna read it because that's a little messy for me. But one thing she said caught my attention. She was like, "Do you know how many other groups come over here and get TPS and use this and use that?" And I'm like, okay. I didn't really respond. I actually left her on red. But a lot of the issue is that a lot of them know what they're doing, but they feel like everybody else doing it. So that's why a lot of them, when we say stuff there, why don't you talk about the YT folk? Why don't you talk about them? Why don't you talk about them? That's not a defense of what you're doing. That's saying, well, if they're doing it, I should be doing it too. If they're doing it and if they get a pass, I should get a pass too. If Europeans are able to come over here and exploit the system, why can't I exploit the system? They're not arguing even at this point that they're not doing that. They're just saying, hey, well, I mean, everybody doing it, so come on now. Why can't I do it? Why can't I join? Why can't I jump in? That's why you hear, oh, all you FBAs do is talk about immigration. All y'all do is talk about immigrants. Y'all don't ever talk about YT folk. Y'all don't ever talk about them. Y'all don't ever talk about them. It's not even really because they want us to talk about them. Because when we do, they don't show up. When we do, they don't show up. They feel like, well, if white T people have been doing this, we should get a pass. Okay? Not that they feel like they're doing something that's not wrong. They know they're wrong. They know they bogus. They know they disrespectful. And they know they gotta go. But they mad at us for not having this loyalty to them, to the diaspora anymore. We don't have a loyalty, okay, to off-code tethers anymore. And they feel like, well, they've been able to get away with it. Hey, okay, well, we're going to get them next.
You know
Okay?
what's missing
We're going to
from
get them
their
next.
mindset, Afro? You know how we be like, nah, that's white T people shit, or, you know, they get away with certain shit. Like, we understand that there are things that white T people will just get away with, right? We understand that. To me, I don't get how somebody from their country who needs to migrate here and be under us would align with YT-ness anyway, and then feel like we should allow them to continue to subjugate us further, become willing tools of YT supremacy, and we just supposed to turn a blind eye. But they compare themselves to the YT immigrants and ask us, what do we think about the South Africaners coming here? They ain't in our government saying black people shouldn't have. They not in our communities putting up these businesses that sell bad food and all this other stuff. They're not disrespecting us in the shops. Matter of fact, white people are taking care of their immigrant class because we delineated so well that they're now looking at who's being identified as white but not really white, telling white immigrants, if you have not been in this country since 1900s, early 1900s, you should not be able to vote. We don't have to address the South Africaners. Trust me, white folks are getting tired of their immigrant class too. So for y'all to think y'all should come here and do that, well, this one's getting away with it, and this one, be humble. You ain't them people. You don't get it to do what other people do.
Yeah.
You're supposed to align with black Americans. We set the standard.
And
that's why
let me
you
jump on
upset
that
us
real
now.
quick. Let me jump on that. The YT Europeans, Russians, Ukrainians, and all that. I remember Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago. Brandon Johnson's all like, y'all talking about Hispanic immigrants, but y'all not saying anything about the Ukrainians that came over here. Because the Ukrainians came over. There were some who came over to Chicago under the Biden administration with the whole thing with Russia and all that, right? And I'm thinking, like, you know, as interesting and true of a point that kind of is at its core, there's a thing with that, though. We don't even see the Ukrainians. We don't know. We don't know who Ukrainian and who's not. We don't know. I mean, they all just white tea to us. We don't know who's been here or who's not. And the Ukrainians who are recently immigrated in America, they're fitting in like a glove. Now, mind you, there is like a Ukrainian enclave in Chicago. Okay, to be honest, in Chicago, if y'all ever come, there's a whole bunch of little pockets of Europeans. You got Italians and Russians and Ukrainians and all of that stuff. So, Irish and all that. So in Chicago, there's a whole bunch of that. Okay, but Ukrainians, they come over. They're not trying to sabotage Ukrainians or any other European. They ain't trying to get in the way. They jump on board and fit like a glove. We got to deal with immigrants who come over here and then say like Brian Daniel, what's his name? Brian Donalds, that his family can't get reparations, so we shouldn't get any reparations either. Okay, we got to deal with those type of immigrants. At the very least, the white folk deal with cool immigrants today in comparison with their community. The immigrants that come over there, they trying to fit in. They trying to help out. We got immigrants coming over here deliberately trying to sabotage. Candace Owens, Brian Donalds, Myron Gain. Come on. Y'all could, if y'all somewhat different, it'd be different.
Candy, y'all go ahead, tap the screen. Afro Lee has a gift goal and he also has a super fan option. Do the daily harmony. If you haven't, or will we be up much longer? It's 4:14 Eastern Standard Time.
Not too much longer because I want to make sure I get ready for my live tonight.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're in the chat, if you're foundational Black American or even identify as Black American, then come on up, request up, because we're going to do last call, y'all. Last call. But we need to get the ethnic group for Lawrence and Frank there because they may not be Black American.
I thought we've had Lawrence on before, but maybe not. Maybe that might be a different one. Lawrence, what's your ethnic group, bro? Lawrence going once, going twice. Lawrence is not here. All right, well, we'll just drop him down. He might have came up on accident. Who knows? Let's get to Frank. Frank, what's your ethnic group?
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm not an FBA. I'm a second generation immigrant.
Okay, well, you.
But I want to say that.
Y'all, today is not the day. This is the Foundational Black American State of the Union. I want to tell everybody, remember the first prompt we had for the State of the Union? Yes, I did that. Auntie did that. But look at Afro. So that prompt is smooth, Afro. I really love it. When it says our history, our people, our future.
Yeah.
With both flags, the American and the Black American heritage flag. That is a beautiful prompt, Afro. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You have somebody in the queue.
I do? Okay. Hey, and that was no disrespect to Frank, but yeah, we just next time.
I smelled the mayonnaise coming from his mouth. You did right, Afro. This the quickest I ever seen you drop somebody. You trying to get a world record, brother. Salute to you.
Hold on, did everybody do their heart meet? Because I ain't seen not one heart meet go up, y'all.
So listen to what I want to say.
I did mine already.
Thank you.
We're having a specific conversation, so it's not the time.
Thank you, y'all.
Okay.
And DJ hasn't gone yet. Before
Lawrence,
long.
where you from, Lawrence? Where's your family's ethnicity from?
I'm from H-Town, man.
You from where?
Houston, Texas.
Shout out to H-Town. But where's your family from, though? Your family's ethnicity, though.
Okay. We out of Oklahoma. Then my grandmother moved to
so you're
Louisiana.
a Black American? You're a foundational Black American?
Yeah, I'm foundational Black American. I'm not.
All right. Can you turn the NFL down a little bit? I hear it in the background.
Hold on, man. All right, hold on. Let me call timeout.
By the defense.
You playing NCAA 2027, brother? What you doing over there?
Nah, man, I'm playing Madden
I don't
right
know
now.
what they.
How did I know? Look, I know it. I said, can you turn the NFL down? I knew it. I couldn't even really hear.
Okay.
I'm like, yep, that's football. That's
okay,
football.
now, man, Okay, I understand y'all. You know, I like the conversation, what y'all, you know what I'm saying, what y'all talking about, you know what I'm saying? But man, y'all gotta learn how to articulate yourself, man. You know what I'm saying? You have to learn to articulate what you are talking about. Or else it's just babble, man.
Okay,
Quit
what are we not
babbling.
articulating clearly for you, sir?
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about your panel.
What
You
has the
have to learn.
panel not articulated though?
Huh?
What has the panel not articulated?
Whatever they speaking about.
Okay,
They
can
speaking
you
babble.
articulate what is not being articulated? Because you came over here and
All
you're
right, all right.
criticizing the articulation. Now I'm asking what is not being articulated clearly?
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
It's not socialism, man. It's communism. I don't blame the white folks, man. I don't blame the Mexicans. I don't blame the Puerto Ricans or whoever come over here, you know what I'm saying, trying to game the system. I blame you niggas. You niggas for 40 years have voted for them goddamn Democrats.
Please
For
go
You're
back
not,
to your
hold
video
on,
game,
Candy.
sir.
Hold on, Candy. You're not articulating yourself in a calm demeanor. You have no decorum. You didn't have to cuss at us to get your point across, sir. Plus, protect the integrity of the live if you want to be allowed back up on the panel. Because I'm not playing with you. Don't cuss up here. Continue.
And I'm not even 40
And
years
hold
old.
on. For you to say, let me be clear. Let's have a teaching moment. Class is in session, everybody. For you to say we're not articulating our point, and then for me to have to interrogate you to get to your point is a bad look. That's a bad look. Okay? You said that our point was not well articulated. That does not mean you disagree. That means that it's confusing. It's not articulated well. It's not thought out, okay, and conveyed in a proper manner. That's what you originally came up here and said. Now you're saying you disagree. Those are different things, okay? And you're not articulating yourself that well. You said we're saying babble. No, it's not babble. It's just something you disagree with. So you're not mad at anybody except capitalism, right? Is that what you're trying to say?
Really aggressive, slurring like he was doing
Lawrence,
the DJ
you got
Screwface
it. You got
trial.
it, sir. Lawrence,
Are you still there, sir?
Lawrence.
Put the bottle down, bro.
Now he
Lawrence, you
came
came
back
in
up.
tether hot.
Put
He
the
must be
bottle
losing.
down,
He must
bro.
be losing. See,
He's over
look,
there
he
tipping
was
on them double
cool.
cups.
He was cool.
I had my mute
Okay,
on. I
Lawrence.
had my mute on. I had my mute on. I had
Okay,
my
got
mute
you.
on. Can I finish?
I'm gonna let you go.
Yes.
I don't.
Let you go uninterrupted. You got it.
Okay. I've lived in the hood. I've lived in the white neighborhood. I've been in the military. I've seen both sides. You know what I'm saying? It's not capitalism. Even when you date a girl, oh, he don't want to work, girl. He lazy, girl. But when the white man say you lazy, oh, it's a problem. You know what I'm saying? I don't blame the white man. I don't blame nobody. I blame you. You voted for this. You voted to bring all these people over here. You people voted for that. All you black people, now you complaining about all these Mexicans and Puerto Ricans. You voted for that. You voted for Democrats. That's
Wrong
your
age
fault.
group. Wrong age group.
You
No,
must be
none of
new.
us were born in 1960 something. We ain't vote for that.
New here, huh? We ain't vote for
How
that.
old are you? How old are
He
you,
must
ma'am?
be. Now
How old are
here's the
you,
thing.
ma'am?
Hold on. Everybody. What race are the Democrats who are allowing immigrants to come over here?
What race has
Scratching
been
around for
doing this?
biscuit crumbs, man.
Sir, for the sake of maturity in the argument, what race are the Democrats that are allowing immigrants to come over here?
Black, white,
No,
Mexican.
okay, fine. What race is Joe
Mexican is not a
Biden?
race, sir.
What race is Joe Biden? What is Joe Biden?
He white.
Joe
He
Biden is
white.
white. Now, while you hold on to make my point, while you want to sit up there and I don't blame the white man. I don't blame him. I blame y'all for voting for Democrats. The Democrats are white. They're white. Most Democrats in Congress, most people in Congress are white. They're Caucasian. Why you don't want to blame them? You want to blame us for voting for them, but they're white. The white people are doing it. They're keeping them here. You blaming us for putting white people in power, but not blaming the white people?
I'm blaming you.
Are you going to blame Joe Biden, though? Are you going to blame Joe Biden?
You're going to blame Joe Biden, right? I never voted for him. I never voted for him.
Okay, no, but are you going to blame him because he did it? He did it. So are you going to blame him? And I'm making a point with this. Are you going to blame him? Unmute yourself.
Yeah. I blame Joe Biden. I blame Bill Clinton. I blame all them motherfuckers. Oh, excuse my language.
Why did you say you're not blaming white? They're white.
I blame you the most.
They're white though. They're white. So they should take majority of the blame. They should take majority of the blame.
Stop cussing, old man. Nah, bro. When I was, I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example right now. I'm gonna cancel this game right now because I'm gonna get real with you. Okay. I was born and raised in 5th Ward, Texas. 5th Ward in Houston, Texas. I was born and raised. I lived with my grandmother for the first half of my life. So I know the hood. I know how beautiful it was back in the 70s. My uncle used to take me around. They had barbershops. They had businesses. We used to go to Candyman. He had his own candy store. He had his barbershops. All these places, beautiful places. You know what I'm saying? My mama came and got me. We moved to the suburbs. So the second part of my life, I played football. I lived with white folks. I ate at their house. You know what I'm saying? I ain't no stupid ass. I ain't stupid. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm well educated.
Never said that, but okay.
The point I'm trying to make to you people is that living on both sides, you got sorry people in every race.
Well, you didn't live on both. You didn't live. Hold on. You lived in a nice community. You didn't live with white folks. Did you have white people living in your house?
Oh God!
You just lived in a nicer community. That's it.
Whatever, man. Whatever you know what I'm saying?
Well,
nice
all
community.
that I see it by both sides. All of that I see it by both sides. But you want to blame us? Why are you not?
He ain't say nothing. I'm not blaming. I'm not. You're a part of the problem, man. Black people are a part of the problem because you.
Okay. If we're hold on though. If we're a part of the problem, who else is a part of the problem?
Your enemy, white people. But you don't
say.
study
Hold on though. Why did you say you're not blaming white people? Because that's the first thing you said when you came here.
Okay, I'm blaming both you motherfuckers. Is that
old man? Now hold on. I want a full circle moment. Do you see how I helped you articulate your point?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay. Get back to the game.
Oh damn, Afro! I wanted to.
we trying to. I'm about to get off work, Sage. We don't need to be here seeing this old man drool on his damn controller. He need to go back to getting 2 more stuff, man.
My thing is that EJ, when people think that when they move to the quote unquote suburbs, that means suburbs means white. It doesn't necessarily mean that. I currently live in the suburbs now. No homo. Afro, you have seen my house. I don't live amongst white people. Yeah. And I live in for what I would say is a fairly nice neighborhood. I have no white neighbors. So I hate when people think of, and the sad part, that's an older man. And the sad part is that he still thinks of black people as being the lesser than, being the ones that are supposed to live in the hood. No, you're not. You're not supposed to, dude, you talking about, oh, y'all voted for this, sir. You're the one that should have put down the damn game before myself, EJ, and Afro was even born. You didn't do it. You failed to do it. So now we have to take up the damn mantle and do what we have to do. My thing is, I really hate when these older people, like that guy right there. First of all, you're old and you're still playing Madden, bro. That's one. No. Let's call this out. No. We're gonna call this out real quick, man. We're gonna call this out, bro. You old as hell and you still playing Madden, my nigga. Like, excuse me, I'm gonna go on mute. My bad. I'm sorry.
See, I was playing Galaga or something. 1 minute, y'all. Afro, did we hear from DJ at all? He's just been sitting up
No,
here.
no, we haven't heard from DJ yet.
Right, don't forget about him.
I just wanted to just say something real quick. I live near the ward, and a lot of dudes sound like dudes. Like a lot of dudes, they still complain about stuff that we've been advanced on about 10 years ago. When you try to talk to them, they start playing the blame game. So it's really hard to talk. We've been past. We know how to handle a lot of them. What we do is we just let them keep playing Madden, and we just do business as usual. You know, out here in the H-Town.
And y'all letting the video game. You know how they say parents don't let video games or the television raise your children? So y'all just letting them their minds stew in Madden? And then when they we got to deal with
grandpa.
that.
That's what needs to happen.
He need to blow off his Sega Genesis controller and take it to the pawn shop because your gaming career has been over with. He came up here slurred. Then this like the third person we done had over these past couple of panels. I don't know why these old dudes don't stay in the retirement home and just OD off their Jello pudding. We love TikTok shop. It's crazy out here.
I understand how it is in Houston. I got family in Houston, Fifth Ward. I do have family over there. I understand, it's hard times. But brother, what are you doing, brother? Look at yourself in the mirror and what are you doing to further your people? And that's all I would ask from a brother. Because playing Madden, scoring the touchdown ain't gonna get us there, brother.
I'm gonna just let you know, like, especially like, on the north side, a lot of what they call those charitable places, they have like oversaturated, especially since COVID. A lot of them come around with their pamphlets and they really be derailing a lot of people because a lot of those big plazas and stuff got shut down, especially on the north side and stuff since COVID and everything like that. So a lot of people, they doing a lot of those pop-ups or those tents, and those are oversaturated with non-American, like, Asian market, Latino market. It's a lot of that going on.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So people are distracted.
I also want to add, this is the danger of being overly grateful to the dominant society. What he said was very telling. What he said, well, I spent half my life in the ghetto. Okay, and that's unfortunate. First question, why were you in the ghetto? Who made your community a ghetto? Because it wasn't black folk. All of that, man, if we would have just done better. No, the ghettos are made when a government neglects a certain part of a community. Okay? When they neglect to put jobs, good paying jobs or jobs at all there, when they neglect to allow businesses to be established there, okay? When they don't care of when they don't take care of the property and things like that. These are how ghettos are made. When the government, and I got to choose my word carefully, when they place harmful addictive substances, y'all know what I'm talking about, in these communities, these are how ghettos are made. They're placing these substances in there. We had a whole epidemic of that. So first off, while you in the ghetto, understand you're in the ghetto because of the people you quote unquote don't want to blame. Because they set that up. They manufacture the ghetto. Ghettos aren't natural. They're manufactured. That's number one. Then number two, you spend half your life there. I bet, and this is something we got to be honest about. I bet he grew up, I could just tell, he seemed like a heavier dude, probably not attractive, probably grew up with a lot of self-hate, okay? More than likely, because 9 times out of 10, they're all the same. Probably grew up with a lot of self-hate, didn't like black folk that much. And then when he moved, when he moved to a suburb, he said, I lived around them. So he saw a nice neighborhood, opportunities, and he saw success closely associated with YT folk. Okay, he saw prosperity associated with YT folk. He grew love, almost like Stockholm syndrome, to YT folk. I can already tell when he was in the military, he was smiling ear to ear at everything the marshal said.
Yeah, Afro. And this is just me, but did he have a picture of Jason Whitlock as his profile picture? I wanted y'all to see that, so I already knew it was gonna
Nah,
be
that
that
was
type
that
of
was
party.
actually him. That was actually him.
They look just alike, both
They all
two
have
fat
that look.
individuals with no necks.
They all
Yeah,
have that look.
he looked like
here's the
somebody I
thing.
actually seen.
Why? And here's the thing with that. He was probably really favorited because, no offense, but white people love a kind of dumb black dude, especially a big. If you was in the military and all that, a big burly kind of slow black dude. Oh, they love it. They eat that up like The Blind Side. Oh, they love it.
Just to let you
Oh
know
my
what
God,
dude.
they all like Lawrence. Oh, that's my favorite. Lauren, you're like, yeah, I am your favorite. I don't see no color. I don't see nothing. They love that. Oh, they eat that up. They eat it up. They love
Just
it.
to be honest, what he really wanted you to do, he wanted you to like what the subject and everything that y'all talking about. That's what really triggering him. He really wanted you to talk about horizontal, Kundalini stuff. You know what I mean? Like a lot of them, they thirsting for that stuff, and they don't really like these spaces because y'all really talking about B1 business. You know what I'm saying?
Now, before BX, before you go, I want to also just land with this. Let me land with this. These are the people who anything bad that happens in the black community, they will always say, no, I don't blame nobody but black people. We can't blame nobody but black people. You see how I had to really say, okay, you're blaming us for putting the Democrats in office. But what is Joe Biden? Well, he white, so you have to blame white people. I guess you see how he even begrudgingly blamed them. He had no problem at all blaming us for our condition. But then when we said, well, our condition, they're responsible for. Then he's like, I guess, but I still blame you. Okay? These are the old people in our community.
Yep.
That other problem. BX, you got it.
I think I kind of lost my thought, but I got a new one, right? So the new one is this. I honestly believe, right, in order to solve any issue, you have to go to the root cause. White people, white supremacy, slavery, that era will always be the root cause for the systemic issues that Black Americans face. To go to the man there, I'm like, huh? Because honestly, I may be, and this is not to enact ageism or anybody or say I'm older, I know more. I'm just saying I may be the oldest up here, 51. I never voted for Joe Biden. I can't take that blame for Joe Biden. I didn't vote the election of Kamala and Biden. I didn't want Biden in office. I didn't want Kamala in office. I actually wanted Marianne Williamson, who was one of the first nominees that I heard speaking of reparations, right? So to come up here, I blame you. You put them in office. You did this. You did that. Like, sir, you got to know who you're talking to before you start talking. And also, I wanted to say this. Ghettos, okay, were made in Germany. Ghetto, and the way ghettos are applied to us, beautiful things grow out of the ghettos. And one thing that he said, he did say hood too, Afro, and he said he was with his grandmother and he's seen how the hood changed and his mother came to get him. And so therefore he moved to the suburb. Shouldn't he blame his granny? How the hood changed? Who was she voting for? Why did your mother think it was okay to move you to a white tea area so you could have those views? And I want us, foundational Black Americans, to have that conversation. There are perfectly nice, good, clean Black suburbs. Am I right, Sage Drop? Why do we have to move to the white tea area as if that's some sort of status? We could look at Carmelo and see what our children can face.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
He came at you really aggressive, Afro, like you gave him a salad or something. You just trying to, you trying to have a reasonable conversation with the big back brother, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, you gave him more than his share, because like I said, a lot of them, y'all, when you talk to them on the street, like you bring it up in passing, you don't hit them directly. You just bring it up in passing, and they'll go into this blame game, just like how he was doing with Afro, they go straight into the blame game. They start pointing fingers. They start telling each person they had a part in it. They don't take no accountability in what transpired through their time frame. They go right straight to pointing the finger and you. When you try to bring up solutions, they change the subject. It get real bad. They start talking about how bad they can beat you in Madden. It turned to all that type of stuff.
Yeah, and I would like again. I would like to
I'm gonna
ask
say something too. I'm
Lawrence.
gonna say something before. He said, "I'm
Go
gonna
ahead.
cancel this game." He was losing.
Now you trying to come back up. We gave you a
I know,
chance,
I
Big
know, I
Mac.
know,
Don't
Lawrence.
come back
No,
up no more,
Lawrence,
man.
Lawrence,
It's
Lawrence.
over.
Play your
I'm gonna
game,
cancel this game because
Lawrence.
I'm
Play
really
your
about to talk to you.
game.
That's because he
Yeah,
was.
Lawrence.
I know folk who play Madden. I used to play it. I don't really play games like that no more. But when you win in Madden, you will pause that game. You ain't gonna cancel the game. That means you was losing. Which is why you
It was
came in so
21, Scott.
Don't look. Don't blame me. He was like, "Oh no, I was online. I was in the debate. That's why I quit the game." No, you was behind 3 touchdowns in the
Yeah,
fourth
yeah,
quarter.
yeah. You was down
That's
21
why you
points,
lost.
dog. I forgot
That's
it.
why you quit the game. Come on,
You was
man.
down 21 points, dog. We know,
Age,
man.
what woman is allowing him to stay home in the middle of the afternoon to play Madden? Like, what's your life, sir? Coming up here projecting on us. And I argue, because since you mentioned what, Puerto Ricans and Mexicans, Puerto Ricans technically aren't immigrants. I do want a condition of their territorialship, if that's the thing, to be deportation. They should not be up here committing all the crime they're committing and don't be deported to the island. So yeah, I think that he needs to reevaluate his own life. Stop sleeping with the immigrants and coming up here getting mad at us when they don't treat you the way you want to be treated. That's pent up aggression you have. And I argue, if we got rid of the Puerto Ricans, if we got rid of the Mexicans, if we got rid of the melanated immigrants, our so-called hoods and ghettos will be a nicer, clean, safer space to be in, sir.
All
Stop
right.
projecting on us.
Yeah, that's
Hold on.
true.
We haven't gotten to Paige. Paige, are you with us? Paige, and then we got Queen Black. She hasn't spoken yet, so let's make sure we get those two before we wrap up.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
How you doing?
I'm from Georgia. I'm FBA all day. The whole family's from Georgia.
Where in Georgia you from? Because I'm in Athens.
It's a small town called Alma. It's in the southeast part of Georgia.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
All right, and I don't live there now. I'm in Texas right now. So anyway, yeah, old dude like that, they're a problem. He'll probably a retired passport bro. Used the military to be a passport bro. Done tricked off his money overseas and stuff. But yeah, it's people like that. They're a problem in our society, and you know, olders like that. We gotta look past them and focus on, you know, the real thing as far as fighting for reparations and fighting for a real justice system for, you know, FBAs in this country.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I ain't got too much to say. I appreciate you bring me up.
Well, yeah, I appreciate you, Paige. Thank you very much. All right, let's get to Queen Black.
Hey everyone.
How you doing?
How y'all doing today? I just wanted to say that the system is set up, you know, to be against us, where everyone can just come into this country and benefit off of us, just parasite off of us. And that's why all these programs are set up to be all inclusive, to include them. We were thinking some of these systems were, or these programs were set up specifically for us, but it's not. And so that's why the Juneteenth organizations, and I'm in Buffalo, New York. If you go to their website, it's all Pan-African. The president on there, she's dressed up in African garb. And I spoke to these people, and just to do anything like just to change the flag, they don't want to do that, because they told me that they made that organization global. So they literally are lumping us and grouping us in with the diaspora. And then when they come over, they give them the resources and the benefits through our organizations. So anything that has to do with us specifically, if we have a specific organization and they say it's for us, you can go and Google it and look it up and look up the background. You'll see they either got them working in there or it's our people working in there and they allowing all this to happen. And then the government also have a system set up for immigrants to come over and benefit over us also.
Mm,
That's all I wanted to say.
yeah, and that gotta get shut down. They gotta get shut down. We have one last person. That's the final. We ain't bringing nobody up. So we've been on for a minute. Cherry.
Hey Afro, how you doing?
I'm good.
Happy
How you
ex
doing?
and Colonel. Um, she's absolutely right. I mean, this system they have set up now is totally used against us. But what I have been noticing lately that they did all of this to go against us, and it winded up in their backyard. And after this 14th Amendment decision, I seen so many YT people going off. They were upset. And they were talking in codes. And they were talking about they were going to get out there in the streets. So it's going to be uncomfortable for them. It's going to be uncomfortable for them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But look, that's what needs to happen. That's what needs to happen. Okay? First off, it was always temporary. And they're upset because the plan to extend this so much so it's indifferent from a citizenship. They wanted to extend TPS for the rest of their life so much so it might as well be considered another citizenship or green card. And that plan didn't work. So now I'm like, actually, no, the end means there does have to be an end. And they're mad because they know, to be honest, let me tell you why they're mad. They know if we was all on that old school Pan-African thing, it wouldn't have happened like that. They know if Foundation Black Americans as a collective were back on the same Pan-African type of time we were on before, we would be in the streets stomping for them if it would have ever happened. The mere threat of TPS being ended, we would have jumped up and ran and defended them, told them to stand behind us as we fought them off. They know we would have been on that. Okay? But now we ain't on that no more. And now they mad. Because to them, we were supposed to be protecting them. So they mad about that, but it's okay.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
For them. It's good for them. They need to go back.
Yeah.
They need it because they need to be put in a condition where they have no opportunity to run. This is why their homelands is where it is now. This is why their homelands is where it is now, is because they have an opportunity to flee. Why Foundation Black Americans are cut from a different cloth is because we didn't have a savior. We didn't have anybody to flee to. Okay? Even when folk talking about Mexico, we had to help free them. We had to save them and protect them. The Maroons did. The few of us who did. But we had to stand 10 toes down and get it out the mud. We had to do that. They didn't have to do that. Okay? Think about it. They didn't have to do that. They don't. They know they can seek refuge someplace else. And they do that. No, put them back and say, you gotta figure it out. You have to figure it out. Okay? Because if you give them the option to flee, they'll always take it. That needs to be cut. Make them figure it out. It's what's best for them.
But why do you need to flee when you work hard? I don't understand that.
I mean, if they all built America, y'all can go back and build that too, right?
Exactly. Do you think this... Oh, sorry, BX.
It's okay. While we're about to say final words, Miss
Yeah.
Shirley, of course, is going to go first. So as we are doing final words, final thoughts and stuff, y'all go ahead and tap the screen, complete the Daily Heart Meet. If you haven't, Afro Lee has a gift goal, and he also has a super fan option for a low price. And it does come with perks. Really cool stickers. That's where I got the Juneteenth sticker from. He's uploading more. Panel priority. And we're going to talk about having somebody as a permanent seat for State of the Union, but not all the State of the Union. I got to tell you that. But those are some of the perks, y'all. So go ahead and check out the Superfan option. Help complete his gift goal. Do the Daily Heart Meet. Tap that screen. And we appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, can I say something real quick?
Yeah, you got it. I give everybody like a couple minutes to give their final thoughts.
I won't be long. I was just I was trying to let the helium go out my head from that dude that came up here, because he really had me on edge. One of the questions that I guess I would ask some of the Haitians that seem to be very upset right now, especially the men, I would ask them, do they actually know 5 men in their community, upstanding, that would be willing to go back home and help their community? And the next question is, I would ask the women, how many men do you know in your community that is standing up for your community? Because we don't hear the Haitian women talking about their men in a good kind of way. I just wanted to throw that out there just to make you guys think about that, because I have not heard that yet. Have you guys heard that?
Point, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
Tell y'all what I hear about them. When they talk about men in general, they never address their men. They say black men. And when I say, whoa, you're Bohemian, you're this, you're that, the third, you're not Black American. Can you say exactly what men you're talking about? Oh, well, I'm effing black men, talking about Black Americans. Like, they keep up that gender WAR. Meanwhile, they have a real problem with their men. Why? If their men are weak to the point that they fighting us harder on these standards than to go back and fix their homeland, then that's the part of their problem, not ours. But y'all get the blame for it these days.
And that's all I wanted. That's all I just wanted to ask.
All right. Let's get to Paige.
Yeah, my final thoughts is that they can just go ahead and kick rocks, go back to their homeland, build up their own countries with all their quote unquote riches they've gained here amongst us FBAs, and use all those quote unquote resources that they've gathered, since they're so smart and educated and things like that, and just go back and, apply all that ingenuity. I can't even say that word. But anyway, apply it to your own.
Ingenuity.
Yeah, sorry.
I knew.
Thank you. But apply it to your own situation that you got going on there, and establish your own government, and yeah, leave us alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're gonna see what they're made of. Okay. So it's all that bragging. Okay, now it's time to show. Don't talk about it, be about it. Let's get to Queen Black.
I'd just like to say thank you for the panel, and to tell all Black Americans to keep up what you're doing. When I got on X in 2022, we have made a lot of progress getting this information out since then to now. And I was so proud to see how on Facebook this year alone, how there's so many people posting about the Juneteenth, posting the Juneteenth flag, defending our history and our culture. So it's working, and so that's all I want to say. Everyone, just keep up the good work. Thank you.
All right, thank you, thank you. Cherry.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't get to see the whole show. My phone had completely lost power. I had to recharge it back up. But my question, I had a quick question real quick. With this Haitian TPS and with the 14th Amendment not working, do you think that the MAGA community is now going to start going down the list of other communities on TPS and doing the same thing?
More than likely. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure they already got a list of people.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know Haitians are one. They said Syrians, even though I'm pretty sure if they had an option, they would skip Syrians and go straight to Somalians.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
But I know I know
pretty much anybody from Africa or the Caribbean is out of here. They
Yeah,
were looking at TPS.
I think that
Except the white South Africans.
yeah, I think that he's trying to not be offensive and say I'm not picking on just melanated people. Trump, we don't care. Get all the Caribbeans and Africans. We don't care. That's all I had to say.
All right. Candy.
Okay. Well, I think this is a wonderful conversation as always. I really enjoyed everyone's feedback. And I also like the blowing on the game. I was thinking about Nintendo when we used to blow in the cartridges. I was kind of feeling that one. But yeah, so I think that what's happening is a lack of ancestral recognition with this birthright citizenship. They're going on geography rather than birth in the US, which is watering down, again, our lineage, right? So it's not going off of lineage, which kind of takes away from the uniqueness of being American. The people that put the blood, sweat, and tears in making it what it is today that make people want to immigrate here in the first place. So I do think that that it just bypassed, formal lineage-based repair for us by classifying freedmen under a broad, non-specific legal status. I just think it's disrespectful. I think that it just needs to be fixed in general. Our citizenship should not be the same as someone who came here illegally, and just was able to just get citizenship. During slavery, the baby followed the belly, right? So whatever the status of the mother was the status of the baby. And I think they should have applied it to this. And I think it should have been ruled differently. And I think it's just taking advantage of America per usual. But I'll land there.
All right. EJ.
Say this because I just got off the plantation. The more these people fight and claw and throw bush meat and goy powder at us to stay into the country that they shouldn't be in, the more that their countries are gonna be in devastation when it comes to them actually trying to do something about it. Now TPS is giving y'all a chance to actually go back and be about that life in y'all countries, since y'all want to act like generals on these panels, but then talk like peasant soldiers. I want you to have that same energy towards, helping your community and your people in your homeland. If you had half of the energy, if not the will of Foundational Black Americans, I think most of your people in your homeland will respect a lot of y'all more, let alone give y'all respect when y'all come back to your homelands trying to, flex on the people that's still in the struggle. So, when it comes to all immigrants, legal or illegally, y'all have an obligation to go back to y'all countries and to make them better. You can't keep asking for handouts, hamburger helper hands from the United States government. If you don't like America, why would you come to America and reap the benefits of the Black Americans when we can't even get some of the things that y'all get? See, TPS is challenging y'all to actually be about that life. See, America can't keep holding y'all own nuts anymore. Y'all gonna have to hold them yourselves. And to the man from these tether communities, y'all act like real broads. Y'all got monkey grease sliding down the poles. And I see some of the women acting more tougher than y'all on these panels. And that's really such a shame that, you know, a lot of these males in these, you know, tether communities have less heart than the women, and some women have more heart than the dudes. Y'all gonna have to fix that. Y'all gonna have to get some of y'all spiritual elements to give y'all some, you know, courage and to go back home and to handle y'all business, because, you know, Black Americans can't keep holding y'all hands anymore. I want y'all to be in a unstable situation without Black Americans, let alone your YT daddies helping you. Y'all gonna have to fend for yourselves. You know, we can't be feeding y'all, you know, home cooked meals anymore. Y'all gonna have to get it out the mud, literally and figuratively. Shout out to the dirt cookie recipients in Haiti. Y'all gonna have to fend for yourselves. But, you know, with that being said, this is another State of the Union, another classic by my brother Afro Elite and the whole panel. We had some mishaps, but, you know, it is what it is when you're a Black American. You're always going to have haters. But with that being said, I'll land my plane.
All right. Real talk. All right. Sage.
Let me keep this short and sweet. When I was growing up in New York, and I know BS can attest to this as well, there were a lot of proud Haitians, a lot of proud Jamaicans, a lot of proud, Dominicans. I'm not naming Puerto Rico because technically Puerto Rico is not a country, so they can't get deported. They're a territory. Dominicans, Haitians, Jamaicans, they can all get deported. They were very proud. In September, early September, when Labor Day parade, they waved their flags very proudly. They have flags on their vehicles. They do all of that. You've been over here in some cases for 30 plus years. Take that experience that you've learned from America and apply it to Haiti. Don't hit me with well, Haiti is war torn. What are we supposed to do? We can't get jobs. Why don't you build jobs over there? The same thing that you did over here in America, since you worked hard, you can work hard over there and build up your country. I'm rooting for you to build up your own country. Lastly, I would say, if they would have gotten on code in the beginning, none of this would have been necessary. And when unfortunately people had so much pride, they thought that they were the power behind the word that we call, or the moniker that we call Black. But they found out that they're not. So again, don't be afraid to go back to the country in which you love, quote unquote, and build that country up. Haiti, I'm sure, is a beautiful place. I've never been to Haiti in my life, but I've been to Jamaica. I've never been to Haiti, but I'm pretty sure Haiti is a beautiful place. Go make it better. You know how they got that whole Make America Great Again? Go make Haiti great again, like in 1804. Because like my brother Afro said, you got one hit. Y'all are looking like Vanilla Ice right now. You got one hit. Go make another one. And with that, I'm going to land.
Yeah, because I think Vanilla Ice had more than one hit, but I get what you're saying, brother.
There you go.
He had more than one hit, EJ. Get out of here. It was only one hit, dog.
I don't know about that, brother, but we'll talk about that on the back channel, though. But salute to you. They do need to go back home.
All right, though. EJ sliding for Vanilla Ice. He's just saying, hold on now.
Hey, man, I like Ice Ice Baby. Man. That's good for the tellers, man.
All right. Y'all make sure y'all go to For the Culture. Everybody listening live right now, go to For the Culture on YouTube. Y'all get to listen to this, all the rest of our State of the Unions, everything we do. We do this once a month at the beginning of the month. We start the month off right with the State of the Union. So be here every day on the 1st for the State of the Union. Go to For the Culture on YouTube so y'all can listen to the playback of that. And if you guys are on YouTube, shout out to you. Thank you so very much for listening. Please make sure y'all subscribe and hit that like button. BX, can you close us out, please?
Of course, but before I monologue, I have to ask you, Afro, when are you coming back live on TikTok again?
Tomorrow. There's a subject I kind of want to talk about tomorrow. I'm interested in talking about tomorrow, so.
Why you do that? I'm going to be like, what is it, Afro? What is it? Tomorrow, you do know I have my classes, so.
Yeah, I know.
It got to be kind of early. I want to say this. The Haitian TPS was a win, especially if you're in sanctuary cities such as New York, Florida. I don't really know the Haitian population outside of those two states, but I guarantee you they somewhere running amok. That's just the first step in a battle. Nothing has ever been easy for foundational Black Americans here, but we managed to win civil rights, not only for ourselves, but the globe benefits from our civil rights. A moratorium can be enacted where the president states, we don't want nobody coming into this country right now, and I would fully support it. The president, not the presidents, the politicians, the Republicans have another plan that comes from a Democrat back in I think the 1920s, and it's called the Anchor Away Act or something like that. Y'all look into it. We have options. The problem with the immigrants is they think that they're comparable to us, that we don't know what we're talking about. The Haitians really think they helped us emancipate ourselves when they aren't even emancipated to this day, right? You do not become emancipated or win your liberation and then turn around and offer to pay your former enslavers so they won't go to WAR with you again. They did not build this country. We don't have to feed into that. And I already told you, President JFK stated everybody in America were immigrants except for one group. That is us. They cannot compete with, they cannot compare. The Haitian Revolution, I think, started 1791 to 1804, right? But I do know, especially in New York, I know I love New York, 1712, New York slave revolt. A free and enslaved rebelled against the enslavers. 1741, New York slave conspiracy. 1730, I think, was a Stonewall Rebellion. Like, we are them people. We've been emancipating ourselves forever. And to the Haitians, if you're listening to this, your revolution caused the South to expand their slavery. So you never really helped the Louisianians. What are you talking about? Right? But y'all need to research the blackjacks and how our maritime merchants, our maritime sailors helped smuggle some pew-pews for y'all during your revolution. Stop revising history, and in Savannah, y'all actually lost. Y'all needed to train our Tuskegee Airmen. With our Tuskegee Airmen, y'all ain't them people y'all think y'all are. Y'all literally won one battle and gave up the fight. Y'all got to do something better before coming for Black Americans, or we're going to humble you every time. Time's up for a lot of you motherfuckers. I think it's what, 35? What is it? Is it 35? No, 300,000? Did I read that correctly? For the Haitian TPS people? How many that been
300,000, yeah.
All right, so time's up for you guys. But guess what time's not up for? It's not up for Black Americans. We ain't going nowhere. We stay here and benefit the fruits and labors of our ancestors. And the things that we're demanding today, you're not eligible for. No immigrants are eligible for it, and not even those U.S. territories. So y'all are either going to get out of our way or get ran over. Figuratively and not literally. But y'all got to stop doing too much, or else you'll be the next batch, like the Haitians, to get up out this country. And that's where I land. Show respect. Because we earned it.
All right, there you go, y'all. Y'all have a good rest of y'all day. Y'all make sure y'all go to For the Culture on YouTube.